Chapter 2026. The advancement lasted for 7 days and 7 nights before the gate of destiny's enormous energy stopped pouring down. The enormous source of the universe and the information of the laws were completely devoured by Dumbo. The gate of destiny completely collapsed, turning into a ball of energy and disappearing without a trace. Xia Ping had also devoured a portion of the universe's source energy, raising his magic power cultivation to the peak of the early stage of the lightning tribulation realm. His 9 purple mansion spaces were filled with dense magic power, almost overflowing. Just the energy devoured this time was enough to save him thousands of years of condensing magic power. At the same time, his primordial spirit was twice as powerful as before. His divine sense had become more powerful. His primordial spirit in the sea of bitterness was even more powerful, seemingly becoming more solid. In this way, his power to cross the sea of bitterness was even stronger. Even the endless seawater in the sea of bitterness was pulling his primordial spirit, wanting to pull him into the depths of the sea of bitterness. But in the face of the skyrocketing primordial spirit power, this resistance was nothing. And because of his previous experience, he easily crossed the first part of the sea of bitterness. He was just 1 step away from advancing to the middle stage of the lightning tribulation realm. Crossing the sea of bitterness seems to be a form of training. Xia Ping now understood a little. It seemed that crossing the sea of bitterness was an extremely difficult thing, but in fact it was a chance to train his primordial spirit again and again. Every time he advanced a certain distance, his primordial spirit would become stronger. At the same time, because of the training in the sea of bitterness, it became more solid. When the primordial spirit was strong to a certain extent, it would transform into a real spirit, fusing into the limbs and bones, fusing into every cell of the body, truly forming an immortal body. Perhaps this was the true meaning of crossing the sea of bitterness. It was both a trial and an opportunity. The lightning tribulation is about to descend. Xia Ping squinted his eyes. At this time, he felt that he seemed to have alarmed the source of the universe, causing a backlash. Deep in the void, a huge power of the tribulation was constantly gathering, as if it would descend at any time. But because the power of the tribulation had not reached its limit, it was like a whirlpool in the depths of the void, constantly spinning and brewing. Once it reached its limit, the lightning tribulation would descend. He finally understood what it meant to have a thorn on his back. There seemed to be an eye of heavenly punishment staring at him from the depths of the void. No matter where he hid, he couldn't hide. No wonder Thunder Tribulation realm powerhouses rarely roam the universe. Most of them are in closed-door cultivation or going out to train. If the power of Thunder Tribulation is watching them at all times and can descend at any time, the pressure will be extraordinary. Xia Ping also slightly understood the feelings of Thunder Tribulation eminences. They were so careful because they could be struck to death by the Thunder Tribulation at any time. Their lives were in danger. How could they be arrogant in such a situation? Of course, it wasn't just Xia Ping's magic power and primordial spirit that had improved tremendously this time around. At the same time, the golden crow of hell bloodline within him had transformed and awakened bit by bit. By now, he had awakened 500 million golden crow hell cells in his body. He could feel that the flames in his body had become even more intense, as if his body was about to transform into an elemental body. Every vein in his body was flowing like a flaming river. If a drop of his blood was placed on a planet, it would probably form a supervolcano that wouldn't be extinguished for 10,000 years. His strength and defense had improved further. Many golden crow of hell runes appeared in the depths of his blood, and his body emitted a sacred and ancient aura. It could be said that he had become a lot stronger after devouring a large amount of the universe's source energy. Tanminglu, Chong Xiaoqian, and Luna seemed to have benefited a lot. Xia Ping looked at the 3 little girls in the distance. This time, they had also devoured a lot of the universe's source energy. Although they hadn't devoured as much as he had, it was still an extremely shocking amount. Their bloodlines were already extremely shocking, and they had endless potential. They just lacked energy. Now that they had devoured so much universe's source energy, their cultivation suddenly improved by leaps and bounds. Probably saved them at least a few thousand years of cultivation. This could be counted as an unprecedented fortuitous encounter. Of course, the one who had benefited the most was Gaia and Dumbo. Xia Ping looked over and saw that Dumbo had already woken up. She opened her eyes, and the depths of her pupils seemed to contain clusters of nebulae. They were unfathomable, as if they were all-encompassing. At the same time, her body also emitted waves of immortal aura, as if she had transcended this world and was independent of this space. No one knew how powerful Dumbo was now. Immortal Gaia. Corinne and Green Ox both looked at Dumbo with a little reverence. They could sense that Dumbo's current life level was completely different from before. She had transcended. Brother. Dumbo took a step forward, as if she had transcended space and traveled through the void. She directly reached Xia Ping's side, as if this ability had fused into the depths of her bloodline and was an instinct. How do you feel? Xia Ping asked curiously. Feel? I don't seem to feel anything. Dumbo looked confused. She felt that there was not much difference compared to before. For her, increasing her strength was just a matter of time. It was not a big deal. Don't feel anything? The corner of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. She had already advanced to the Sage Realm. This was the realm that countless creatures in the universe dreamed of. How could she not feel anything? She was too confused. Brother, come and take a look. Dumbo stretched out her finger and lightly touched Xia Ping's forehead. A mysterious energy was instilled in. Boom. Suddenly, countless information about Dumbo was instilled into the depths of Xia Ping's sea of consciousness. Xia Ping felt that his spirit was suddenly pulled into Dumbo's soul space, as if both of them had fused into one. Xia Ping first discovered that the space in Dumbo's body had undergone earth-shaking changes. It was originally just a planet and a few continents, but now it had evolved into the appearance of a small universe. Planets and continents appeared in this universe space one after another. In addition to the previous planet and the cloud continent, it seemed that there were thousands of large continents and densely packed planets in the space in his body. These planets and continents had just been born like a newborn world. They were lush with a large number of plants, but there were no intelligent creatures. They were like primitive planets and continents waiting to be developed by humans. Moreover, these planets and continents contained a huge amount of mineral resources. The volume of the space in his body was also 10,000 times larger than before. It was equivalent to the area of a star field. Moreover, this Gaia space seemed to be constantly expanding as Dumbo's strength evolved. Chapter 2027. As Xia Ping continued to explore, he found that the space within Dumbo's body was not as simple as just expanding. The laws of heaven and earth in this space seemed to be more complete than before. If it was the previous Gaia space, a full blow from a Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse might be able to break this space barrier. However, it was completely different now. It seemed that the space laws had been completely perfected. This was due to the infusion of many universal laws, allowing Gaia space to be perfectly improved. It was estimated that even if a sage entered Gaia space now, it would be difficult to break it so easily. Moreover, the chi of heaven and earth inside Gaia space was more than 1,000 times richer than before. Energy from the origin of the universe was everywhere, which was of great benefit to the cultivation of living beings. The reason for this situation seemed to be that Gaia could communicate with the origin of the universe at any time and absorb the origin energy from the depths of the universe, allowing her to evolve at all times. Amazing! Is this the so-called immortal level? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He sensed that Dumbo's spirit had also changed, transforming into a true spirit. It had completely integrated into every cell in the body, gathering and dispersing at will. It could be said that every grain of sand, every weed, every drop of water, and even every particle of dust in the air contained a trace of Gaia's soul energy. Even if Gaia's body was smashed into pieces, as long as there was a particle of dust, the true spirit could teleport over. She could then absorb the origin energy of the universe through the true spirit and quickly recover. This was simply an immortal body. At this level, the body was nothing. What was important was one's soul. As long as the soul was not destroyed and the true spirit did not die, she would be an immortal existence. Although he knew that sages had an immortal body, and as long as they were not completely annihilated, they could be continuously resurrected even if the true spirit was destroyed. However, he now knew how terrifying sages were. Physical attacks alone would not be able to kill an immortal rank saint. However, thinking of this, Xia Ping suddenly remembered that he had been besieged by sages before. At that time, his master, Dark North Sage, had personally taken action and killed several sages with a single move. He did not know what realm his master had reached, to be able to kill even an immortal sage. Even the current Gaia was far inferior to such power. Dong. At this moment, Xia Ping's spirit shook and immediately separated from Dumbo's body. It seemed to be expelled by a force. His consciousness also returned to his body. "Brother, I'm sleepy." Dumbo yawned and rubbed his eyes with his little hands, revealing a sleepy face. "If you're sleepy, then let's sleep." Xia Ping patted little Dumbo's little head. He knew that little Dumbo had just advanced to the sempiternal realm and had yet to fully evolve. He still needed to go into seclusion to consolidate his strength. The reason she was feeling sleepy now was because her body was instinctively reminding her. Hearing this, Dumbo flashed and returned to his residence. He lay on the bed and slept soundly. Layers upon layers of spatial barriers appeared around her body. They were densely packed with tortoiseshell patterns, like the barriers of the world, protecting her body. Such a world barrier could isolate all powers and display absolute defense. It was impossible for anyone to kill her while she was in her slumber. "Corinne, do you know what realm of Sage Dummy is at now?" Xia Ping asked Corinne. He felt that since he had advanced to the Thunder Tribulation realm, he was also qualified to know some information about sages. Sooner or later, he would also become a sage, so knowing this information in advance would also have a certain degree of benefit. "I don't know all kinds of information about sages. This is top secret," Corinne said in a deep voice. "But Xia Ping, you are a disciple of the Holy Land of Taichu, and now you have also advanced to the Thunder Tribulation realm. You should have the authority to inquire about the information about the Sage realm." He said that the level of his previous master's contact was too low. He had always been a rogue cultivator without any master to teach him, so he didn't know too much about the mysteries of sages. The Green Ox also didn't seem to know very much about the cultivation between sages. Because of the war in the Archean era, the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers was seriously damaged, which also led to the loss of some of its memories. "Then I'll check it." Xia Ping nodded and immediately took out his communicator with the Absolute beginning chip installed. He directly entered the internal virtual network of the Holy Land of Taichu and opened the page of information about sages. "Huh? Can I really check it?" He was immediately overjoyed. He had inquired about it before, but was told that he didn't have the authority. Now that he had advanced to the Thunder Tribulation realm, it seemed that the authority seemed to be unlocked, allowing him to inquire about similar information. Clap. Xia Ping clicked on a lot of information about sages, and immediately a series of information about sages appeared. "I see." After a long time, Xia Ping nodded and suddenly understood. There are so many realms of sages. Corinne also saw this scene and suddenly felt that it was an eye-opener. The first realm is the new sage, that is, the immortal sage who has condensed the true spirit and the immortal body. The next realms are near ancient sage, middle ancient sage, immemorial sage, and the last invincible sage. There are 6 realms in total. The immortal sage, near ancient sage, middle ancient sage, immemorial sage, and invincible sage. Each realm is stronger than the previous one, and the gap is indescribable. It is almost impossible to challenge someone of a higher realm. The green ox also widened its eyes. It seems that the old master is just the lowest sage, the immortal sage. Corinne sighed. No wonder the enemy who chased after the star sage was so terrifying and looked down on the star sage. The other party was at least in the realm above the near ancient sage. How is this realm divided? Is it divided according to age? The green ox looked at it curiously, but he still couldn't see the strength division of each realm of sages. He wanted to inquire about the detailed information, but Xia Ping didn't seem to have enough authority. The above suggested that one had to be at least in the immortal realm to be qualified to inquire about it. After all, if one didn't become a sage, knowing it wouldn't be of much use. It's impossible to divide according to age. Sages don't become stronger the longer they live. They duel according to the power of laws they have mastered. Corinne shook his head. The enemy who killed the star sage was younger than the star sage. He seemed to be the heir of an ancient family. If age could crush everything, the star sage wouldn't have died. It seems that Dumbo should be in the immortal sage realm. Xia Ping understood everything clearly. Chapter 2028. Ha ha! At this moment, Chong Xiaoqian seemed to have awakened from her seclusion. Her aura skyrocketed, and she had advanced to the law phase realm. Compared to before, her improvement was simply godly. With her body as the center, waves of spatial fluctuations appeared. Many spatial ripples appeared within a radius of 10 million kilometers, filled with the aura of the space dominator. It was as if she could travel through space and condense spatial power to kill her enemies with a casual move. Her strength had skyrocketed countless times. One could imagine how much she had gained this time. Of course, the most important thing was that she had excellent aptitude. She was the black hole worm king that only appeared once in a trillion years. Her cultivation had been smooth without any bottleneck. In the distance, the black hole worm elders also sensed the aura from Chong Xiaoqian. Their bodies trembled violently, and their eyes revealed joyful expressions. It's the king, it's the aura of the king. It seems like the king's power has skyrocketed, increased countless times. He's at least at the law phase realm. No way. The king was just born not long ago, but he's already reached this level of cultivation. His improvement is too fast. Although the king's aptitude is amazing, it's probably because of Master's nurturing that he can improve so quickly. Looks like relying on Master was the right decision. Without Master, the king couldn't have improved so quickly. It's really incredible. I seem to sense an immortal aura just now. Could it be that Master has advanced to the Sage Realm? It's not that Master has advanced to the Sage Realm, but one of his subordinates, Gaia. As expected of Master. He can even subdue Gaia. Looks like our black hole worm race will once again make a name for ourselves in the universe. We won't hide like stray dogs anymore. The black hole worm elders discussed excitedly. Thinking of their king's increased strength and their master's potential, they became even more loyal to Xia Ping. Regent? Where is the regent? Chong Xiaoqian placed her hands on her hips and chortled with glee. She had gained so much power, so her ego was naturally inflated. She shouted, "Shameless regent, this king will let you know my power today. This king is the true supreme king. Obediently return the authority, or I'll banish you to the cold palace." She felt that she was invincible now. Subduing that hateful regent was a piece of cake. At that time, she would let this hateful regent pour tea and water, and clean up every day. Let's see if this bastard still dared to force her to do her homework and threatened to cut off her internet. Just thinking about it made her feel incomparably happy. What? Do you want me to know how powerful it is? Hearing this, Xia Ping's figure flickered and appeared in front of Chong Xiaoqian, looking down at her from above. Stupid, stupid Prince Regent, I won't be afraid of you. You don't know how powerful I am now. When Chong Xiaoqian saw Xia Ping, she immediately felt guilty. She suddenly recalled the fear of being dominated by the regent. It was easy to imagine how much psychological trauma the regent had left in her heart. However, when she thought about her swelling strength and the powerful spatial fluctuations brewing in her body, she felt that she should not be afraid of this hateful regent anymore. What are you talking about? Looks like you're lacking in homework. When you go back tonight, copy the textbook 10 times. You're not allowed to go online if you miss even one. Xia Ping gave him a sidelong glance. What? You're abusing a child. This is tyranny. Chong Xiaoqian was going crazy. It was impossible for her to copy the textbook 10 times, not even a single time. Oh, is that so? Soul-binding chains. Xia Ping gently pointed, and countless hell runes immediately surged out from the depths of the void, quickly condensing into a black chain, instantly binding Chong Xiaoqian's body, making it impossible for her to react. Ah, scoundrel, treacherous official, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to usurp the throne? Chong Xiaoqian suddenly discovered that after her body was bound by the chain, she was unable to break free with her own strength. The more she struggled, the tighter the chain became. Moreover, the spatial energy on her body was completely useless. This was a hell chain that targeted the primordial spirit. She was directly hung in midair by Xia Ping, her legs constantly kicking and struggling. Her face was filled with rage and grief. Green Ox, capture her and supervise her copying homework. She plays games all day and doesn't even know how to study. How is she going to make a name for herself in the future and earn money for me? Xia Ping said to the Green Ox. Yes, master, leave it to me. The Green Ox stroked his beard and smiled amiably. Demon, this Prince Regent is indeed a demon. Chong Xiaoqian's face was filled with grief and indignation. She was only a child, but this bastard already wanted to squeeze out her remaining value and work for him all day. If he wasn't a demon, what was he? Now that even the Green Ox had become this demon's accomplice, she was now completely deserted and alone. All right, Xiaoqian, don't be angry. You're stronger than others now. Haven't you learned what it means to endure humiliation and endure hardships? As a ruler, you should have the magnanimity to endure what others can't. This is something you should learn. The Green Ox said in a low voice and mysteriously. The magnanimity of a ruler? Hearing this, Chong Xiaoqian suddenly came to a realization, and her spirits were immediately lifted. It seemed like the Green Ox was indeed a very loyal official. Among all the civil and military officials in the imperial court, there was only one good person like him. Indeed, what she should do now was to endure humiliation and endure hardship. She shouldn't clash head-on with this demon, or else she would be the one to suffer. Tonight, copy your homework properly and let your master's guard down. When you become stronger in the future, it won't be too late for you to take revenge. It's never too late for a ruler to take revenge. The Green Ox smiled slightly. Don't worry, I understand. This is what it means to appear weak to the enemy. Chong Xiaoqian nodded, clenched her fists, and her eyes lit up. But after I finish my homework, can I go online? I've already agreed to play with a group of people yesterday. We're going to dungeon and fight a boss. She still couldn't forget about the internet and wanted to go online to fight dungeons. Of course, no problem. The Green Ox chuckled and took Chong Xiaoqian away. Seeing the internet addict Chong Xiaoqian being taken away, Xia Ping also looked at Tan Menglu and Luna. The two of them seemed to have also devoured a large amount of cosmic origin energy and were currently in a coma. Masses of energy were entwined around their bodies, forming a huge energy silkworm, and they were probably refining and absorbing it. With a wave of his hand, he immediately grabbed the two of them and placed them in the resting room so that they could cultivate and evolve in peace. Chapter 2029. In a quiet room within the Mountain River Pearls space, Xia Ping was refining the three low-grade saint artifacts: the Star Punishment Sword, the Mystic Moon Demon Sealing Tablet, and the Crimson Sun Demon Sealing Tablet. There were also two mid-grade saint artifacts: the Wind 8 Trigrams Banner and the 9 Dragons Bronze Mirror. He had used the Golden Crow of Hell's Flames to forcibly burn off the mental connection between them and their previous owners and forcibly engraved his spiritual imprint on them. However, he hadn't reached the realm of becoming one with the artifacts yet. He hadn't completely grasped the power of these artifacts yet. It just so happened that he had the time to refine all of these sacred artifacts. That way, no one would be able to snatch these sacred artifacts away from him. As soon as he refined the Star Punishment Sword, the Mystic Moon Demon Sealing Tablet, and the Crimson Sun Demon Sealing Tablet, Xia Ping immediately sensed the immense power of the sun, moon, and stars gushing out from the depths of these three low-grade saint artifacts. Whoosh! Suddenly, the entire sky darkened. It was as if a sky full of stars had appeared. Beams of starlight fell down one after another, pouring into his body like a river. They actually have the effect of refining the body? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He discovered that the enormous power gushing in from these three artifacts had seeped into every corner of his body and was strengthening his internal organs. One star after another surged into his acupoints, releasing wisps of blue starlight that were refining every bone in his body. Vaguely, densely packed star runes appeared in the depths of his bones. The power of the moon seeped into his internal organs and nourished every inch of his muscles. Everywhere was filled with the power of the moon, and his entire body seemed to be surrounded by silver-white light. The power of the red sun seemed to have fused into his heart and turned into flames in his blood. It flowed along his blood vessels and seeped into every meridian, emitting wisps of flames that burned every drop of impurities in his body. Xia Ping's body was already strong enough. He had the constitution of the Golden Crow of Hell and the body of a divine beast. However, under the refinement of these three low-grade saint artifacts, he could actually get rid of the impurities in his body and be reborn. I see. Xia Ping understood a little. These three saint artifacts not only had the effect of trapping and killing enemies, but they were also treasures that could assist in cultivation. They were greatly beneficial to the starlight race, the glorious sun race, and the radiant moon race. It seemed to have been refined by the saints of the three great races, and contained the cultivation secrets of the three great races. It could absorb the power of the sun, moon, and stars in the depths of the void to cultivate. As he continued to refine it, the effects of his cultivation became even more astonishing. The energy of the sun, moon, and stars flowed continuously in his body, forming a triangular formation that grew and multiplied endlessly. His comprehension of the three low-quality saint artifacts deepened as well. He seemed to be able to communicate with the artifact spirits of the three saint artifacts. Previously, he had only used the infernal golden crow flames to intimidate them, and they were still a little unwilling. But now, they had the thought of submitting and were willing to acknowledge him as their master. After refining for several days, Xia Ping finally succeeded in refining the three low-rank saint artifacts. He then set his eyes on the two mid-rank saint artifacts, the 9-Dragon Treasure Mirror and the Wind 8 Trigrams Plate. This Wind 8 Trigrams banner was a sacred weapon of the demon clan. It contained a powerful demon clan aura, but it was not suitable for cultivation. It was only suitable for killing enemies. Therefore, he did not intend to use the Wind 8 Trigrams banner to train his body. However, this 9-dragon treasured mirror was completely different. It was a powerful sage weapon that was created by a human sage after he killed 9 true dragons and smelted many universe-grade materials. This mirror contained a powerful true dragon power, which would definitely be of great benefit to his cultivation. Boom! Thinking of this, Xia Ping did not hesitate. He immediately poured the power of his soul into it, completely fusing with the 9 dragon treasure mirror and communicating with the internal artifact spirits of the mirror. Roar! However, the mirror had 9 artifact spirits, which were the 9 dragons. They were scattered throughout the mirror, as if there were 9 worlds within the mirror, and each dragon lived in one of the worlds. Human, give up. We will not submit. Don't think that we'll be at your beck and call just because you've heavily injured us with some small trick. That's right. We dragons are a peak race. We don't lose to humans. You're dreaming if you think you can order us around. Even though Xia Ping had used the Hell Golden Crow flames to subdue them, they refused to submit willingly. They remained defiant as they let out furious roars, unwilling to submit to the human. Back then, Su Chong had spent a great deal of effort and time to curry favor with the 9 dragons in order to tame the medial-grade sacred weapon. Only then did he barely gain their acknowledgement. Now it was impossible for Xia Ping to tame them instantly. Is that so? Upon thinking of this, Xia Ping's mind stirred. Immediately, a primordial sky dragon aura surged out from his body. It came from the 46 primordial sky dragon talismans. He immediately injected it into the depths of the mirror. Immediately, the 9 dragons in the depths of the mirror were shocked. This was because the primordial sky dragon enjoyed a lofty status among the dragons. They were considered existences at the level of a sacred dragon. Such an aura immediately subdued the 9 dragons. They could not help but prostrate to express their submission. The bloodline deep within them was completely unable to resist the primordial sky dragon aura. Impossible. This is the aura of a primordial sky dragon. How can a human like you possess such an aura? You actually have a dragon aura that's even purer than ours. Are you really a human? You must be joking. What's going on? The 9 dragons were dumbfounded. They could not figure out how a human could possess the aura of a primordial sky dragon. Refine. Xia Ping had no intention of explaining. With a thought, a powerful force of essence soul instantly permeated the depths of the medial-grade sacred weapon. Taking advantage of their moment of shock, he instantly shattered their psyche defenses and permeated his psyche imprint to completely refine it. Immediately, the 9 dragons instinctively sensed that they were extremely close to Xia Ping. Their souls were fused, as though they were kin who had gone through life and death together. Their bloodlines were fused, and they no longer had any thoughts of resisting. Rumble! Waves of true dragon aura emanated from the 9 dragons. Like rivers, they surged into Xia Ping's limbs and bones, transforming into his veins. His veins protruded as though they were entrenched by true dragons. Countless true dragon talismans fused into his bloodline as a dragon's might permeated the surroundings, distorting the void. Pa. With the infusion of these energies, Xia Ping's infernal golden crow bloodline began to awaken rapidly. 1 million cells, 5 million cells, 10 million cells. In the end, he had awakened a total of 50 million infernal golden crow cells. Waves of terrifying infernal golden crow flames surged out of his body, burning everything within 500 kilometers into a sea of fire. The flames condensed into lava, and the lava became volcanoes. Chapter 2030. Xia Ping opened his eyes and looked at his surroundings. He felt lucky. Fortunately, he usually chose seclusion places in the mountain river pearls space that were sparsely populated. Otherwise, just this power alone would be enough to destroy all the buildings around him. He could sense that the volcanoes around him were erupting dark golden flames that contained terrifying deviant flame power. Ordinary creatures would be burned to ashes if they approached. The temperature in the depths of the volcanoes was close to the temperature of a star. Ordinary substances would be vaporized. Moreover, it wouldn't be a problem for these volcanoes to exist for millions of years. This feeling? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He sensed that after awakening 50 million golden crow hell cells, the blood in the depths of his body had undergone an incredible change. He actually sensed a trace of immortality. Under his divine sense, the necrotic cells in the depths of his body had an aura of continuous rebirth. It vaguely possessed the magical ability of the golden crow hell to be reborn in the flames. Could it be that when 1 billion golden crow hell cells awaken in my body, I will have an immortal body? Xiaoping felt that when his golden crow hell cells reached a certain number, he would probably have an immortal body even if he didn't advance to the sage realm. Perhaps this was the golden crow hell's innate magical ability. Even though he only had 550 million golden crow hell cells, his body already contained a trace of immortality. It was as if he was transforming into a mythical creature's physique. If I can have an immortal body, I might be able to fight against an immortal sage as a lightning tribulation realm. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and was tempted. To be honest, the reason why an immortal sage was countless times stronger than a lightning tribulation realm expert was not only because of their dense magic power, but also because they had an immortal body. It was precisely because sages couldn't be killed no matter what. Even Star Destroyer cannons couldn't destroy them. They could be reborn even if they had a single cell left. That was why they were so terrifying. No matter how many lightning tribulation realm experts there were, they couldn't kill a sage. However, a sage could easily slaughter a group of lightning tribulation realm experts. But if he also had an immortal body, then it might not be impossible for him to fight against an immortal sage. Walala, as Xiaoping's magic power and power continued to rise, his divine sense power also increased bit by bit. His spirit seemed to have entered the sea of bitterness again. He could sense that his body in the sea of bitterness seemed to be a little stronger. The first half of the sea of bitterness could no longer stop him, and the surrounding seawater could not stop him from moving forward. The aura of the lightning tribulation in the depths of the void seemed to have become even more intense. This action had triggered a backlash from the universe's origin, as if the lightning tribulation would descend at any moment. However, this tribulation aura hadn't reached its peak yet. It was still gathering, so it didn't descend. Once the aura of the tribulation filled up the whirlpool, it would be time for the lightning tribulation to descend. He carefully estimated that there were about 3 months left. What is this? Suddenly, Xiaoping's soul shuddered. He felt the river of destiny tremble. The water surged as a mysterious message entered the depths of his soul. At once, mysterious images appeared in his sea of consciousness. A girl was constantly running for her life. Her face was filled with terror and despair, but there was a hint of determination in the depths of her beautiful eyes. There seemed to be a terrifying figure chasing after her. That terrifying figure emitted a dark, cursed, and evil aura. It was like a demon from the abyss, surrounded by countless vengeful spirits. Clearly, its hands were stained with the blood of countless lives. This figure's aura shocked Xiaoping, because the other party was an immortal saint. Even so, every time she was in a desperate situation, she could always escape at the crucial moment when she was being chased by a saint. However, after running for a long time, she was a little exhausted. It was unknown how long she could last. In an instant, the immortal saint seemed to sense something, and a pair of emotionless eyes looked over. Dong! In the next second, Xiaoping's spirit shuddered, and the images shattered like glass. In an instant, his spirit broke away from these images. A cold glint flashed in his eyes because he knew this girl. She was the Soul Race's saintess, Lu Rulan. He had met her once in the Blood Soul mainland. They had even carried out soul dual cultivation and cultivated the telepathic heart technique. Their relationship was not shallow. System, what's going on with these images in my mind? Xiaoping asked. This is a lightning tribulation realm cultivator's sudden inspiration. The system replied, cultivators who have reached this realm will enter the river of fate. They will be able to see a trace of their own fate. At this time, they will be able to sense some dangers in the future. This is the realm of the cicada's foresight before the autumn wind blows. Some Thunder Retribution Realm experts can rely on this power to deduce fate to avoid countless threat. Some living beings with extremely powerful souls can rely on some special abilities and methods to see some fragments of the future through the river of destiny to seek fortune and avoid calamity. You can see the future? Xia Ping was shocked. There was actually such a method. Of course, this might not be the real future. It's just a deduction of destiny power and some fragments that might happen. After all, the future has countless possibilities and branches. It's not impossible for some accidents to happen, the system said. In other words, these fragments that suddenly appeared in my mind might be something that will happen in the future. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. It might happen in the future, or it might happen in the present. Because the host once cultivated the telepathic heart technique with this woman, there is a deep connection between their souls. In times of danger and despair, the other party might also send you a distress signal. The system indicated that this was the mystery of the soul. Sometimes it could ignore the distance between them and transmit information. Distress signal? Xia Ping nodded. He felt that this was very possible. From these images, he could also sense Lu Rulan's strong distress signal. However, the enemy was a sage, which was no small matter. Host, what do you plan to do? The enemy is a sage. The system asked. Do you even need to ask? Of course, I'm going to meet him. It's a good opportunity to see the power of a sage. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. If it was before, he would not seek death like this. However, Dumbo had advanced to the Sage Realm, and he was also a Lightning Tribulation Realm powerhouse. He had countless treasures and trump cards. Even if he could not defeat the immortal Sage, he would not die. He was prepared for anything. However, Lu Rulan's location is not shown in the images. Seems like I still need to use the wish compass to find her. Chapter 2031. A day later. Xia Ping found Lu Rulan's location through the wish compass. She happened to be in the Central Universe's ordinary zone, not far from where he was in seclusion. Perhaps that was the reason he sensed it. Interesting, this world seems to be hidden by someone on purpose. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and steered the stars closer to the world indicated by the wish compass. Soon, he found out that the world was hidden deep in the void. Layers of restrictive formations were set up around it, making one's scalp tingle. It was as if there were war fortresses set up nearby. Anyone who got a little closer would be turned into a hornet's nest. The world was hidden in the void. If not for the wish compass's indication, he would not have discovered this unique world hidden in the nearby dimension. Without a doubt, this world was not registered and was deliberately hidden by a saint. In other words, this world seemed to be worth the saint spending so much effort to do such a thing. However, Lu Rulan appeared in this world. Why exactly? Could it be the Blood Soul Saint's lair? Xia Ping suddenly recalled his experience in the Blood Soul mainland. The reason Lu Rulan left back then was because she was teleported away by a restrictive formation in the Blood Soul mainland. That was the Blood Soul Saint's backup plan. Now, it seemed like Lu Rulan was probably teleported to this place. However, it was obvious that the Blood Soul Saint's backup plan was also a little troublesome, causing Lu Rulan to be in such a crisis. Corinne, do you know how we can enter this world without being discovered? Xia Ping asked Corinne. He felt that if he forced his way in, he would definitely be discovered by the saint guarding this world. He had yet to find Lu Rulan, so it was not suitable for him to have a conflict with the saint of this world for now. Most importantly, only by knowing oneself and one's enemy could one emerge victorious. He had to figure out the trump card of this place to have a certain chance of winning. Otherwise, he would not even know how he died. Of course, no problem. You're underestimating the current stars, Corinne said proudly. Corinne said proudly, don't look at how this world is full of restrictive arrays, but as a middle-grade Sage-level spaceship, Myriad Stars can completely disguise its appearance and aura, turning into a meteorite and falling into this world. This way, it can ensure that the sages of this world won't discover anything. Xiaoping nodded. He also saw that although this world was hidden deep in the void, a large number of meteorites would be attracted and fall into this world from time to time. This was a very normal astronomical phenomenon. If the stars entered this world disguised as a meteorite, the saint who controlled this world would not notice anything fishy. After all, the saint could not monitor this world all the time, and he did not have that much energy. Whoosh! Thinking of this, under Corinne's control, the myriad stars immediately transformed into a gray meteorite and slowly flew toward this mysterious and special world. Whoosh! In the next second, the stars easily entered this world. Ripples appeared in the surrounding void, but the restriction formations did not react at all, as if they thought it was an ordinary meteorite that had fallen in. Just like that, Xiaoping entered this world. Qinghai Realm. This was a world that was 80% composed of ocean. The seawater was cyan and extremely beautiful. There was only one piece of land in the middle of the world. The rest were islands that dotted this world like stars. This continent was also known as the Azure Sea Continent. Countless creatures lived on this continent. At this moment, in the northeast corner of the Azure Sea Continent, there was a boundless primeval forest. It was surrounded by dense trees, and the green trees gave off a wild and ancient aura. A group of people was flying in the air. Their clothes were tattered, and they looked nervous and defeated. Obviously, they were fleeing. The group was led by a man and a woman, and the rest seemed to be their subordinates and servants. Bastards, our soul race has been almost wiped out by those great demons. Why are they still not letting us go? One of the women in red gritted her teeth. Even if we hide in the deep mountains and forests, even if we hide in the depths of the ocean, even if we hide in the countryside, we will still be found and killed by them. At this point, we are just a weak race. Even if we count the number of people in our race, there are only 2 or 3 kittens left. We are not a threat at all. Why are they still chasing us? She was very unwilling. After fleeing for so many days, her mind was exhausted, and she could not hold on any longer. There is no other way. Beside her, a man in purple shook his head. The killing curse demon saint personally gave the order to wipe out our soul race. How could the great demons under it let us go? Naturally, they risked their lives to kill us, complete the mission, and get the credit. Damn it, it's all that outsider Lu Rulan's fault. The woman in red gritted her teeth, and her face was full of anger. If this fellow did not suddenly come to our Azure Sea continent, we would still be living peacefully with these demons. However, when she came, she activated the Soul Hall's inheritance and attracted the killing curse demon saint's attention. Our soul race was unlucky. The entire race was captured and died because of her. She hated Lu Rulan to the extreme, and her eyes were filled with hatred. If it was not for the outsider Lu Rulan's appearance, they would not have to live such a life of fleeing. It was a life worse than death. Young mistress, you can't blame young Mistress Lu. At this time, a blue-clothed maid said charmingly, before Miss Lu came, our soul race was under the control of these demons. We lived like livestock and were raised. Every day, some of our clansmen would be eaten by them. If it was not for those bad guys wanting to find out the secrets of this Azure Sea continent, they would have slaughtered us all long ago. Now they are just bringing this matter forward. She felt that this matter should not be blamed on others. The enemies should be the demons. Instead of hating the demons who killed their tribesmen, they focused all their hatred on their own people. She could not understand it at all. Shut up, you bitch. With a slap, the red-robed woman sent the blue-robed maid flying. A red palm print appeared on the maid's face, and a ruthless look appeared in her eyes. You're actually speaking up for that bitch? If it weren't for her, how could our soul race have fallen to such a state? Without her, I, Fong Xian, would still be the princess of the Soul Tribe, living a life of luxury. Now I am like a stray dog, worse than a pig or a dog. I know that the demons have been chasing you all this time to capture you and find Lou Roulan's whereabouts. Back then, you were that bitch's maid. You were like a sister. Do you think I don't know about this? If that's the case, then why didn't Lady Lou hand me over? Wouldn't that stop the chase? Chapter 2032. You! The red-dressed woman, Fong Xian, was infuriated because the blue-dressed maidservant's words had hit her soft spot. If handing over the maidservant could stop the demon's pursuit, she would have handed the maidservant over a long time ago. Why would she wait until now? The problem was that the demons were unreasonable. They would not know who had a good relationship with Lou Roulan and who had a bad relationship with her. It was meaningless to them. They only needed to do one thing, and that was to complete the mission and capture all of them alive to obtain the Killing Demon Sage's reward. The so-called negotiation was when both parties had trump cards and were of equal strength. Only then could they negotiate. Without strength, why would others negotiate with you? This was the current situation. Even if she handed over the maidservant, the demons would not stop hunting them down. Since they would not be able to live even if they handed over the maidservant, there was no doubt that they would do it. Most importantly, they had pinned their hopes on Lou Roulan. She was the one who had activated the Soul Clan's temple and had escaped from the Killing Demon Sage several times. Her ability was not to be underestimated. Perhaps it was not Lou Roulan's own power, but she must have grasped some secrets about this world. That was why she could escape death so many times. Therefore, they had kept the maidservant by their side, hoping to find an opportunity to form a connection with Lou Roulan through the maidservant. They hoped that Lou Roulan would protect them. However, now that their intentions were exposed by the maidservant in blue, the lady in red, Fong Xian, was enraged. She wanted to slap the maidservant again. She was just a lowly maidservant, yet she dared to speak to her master like that. She must have a death wish. Enough! Before Fong Xian could make a move, the man in purple next to her stopped her. He was Fong Xian's brother, Fong Yang. He was also the young master of the Soul Clan and the leader of the group. He said in a deep voice, "There are only a few of us left in the Soul Clan. We can't fight among ourselves. Are you trying to attract the demon's attention by starting a fight here? That's a nice way of putting it. Won't we attract the demon's attention if we don't start a fight? We're already being watched. We can't escape even if we run to the ends of the earth." The lady in red, Fong Xian, said angrily. "We have no choice. Looks like we can only go to the Blood Mist Forbidden Land now." The man in purple, Fong Yang, said in a low voice. "What?" Hearing this, the woman in red and the others were shocked. Blood Mist Forbidden Land? This was a famous forbidden land in the Azure Sea realm. There were countless legends about it, and it was known as the Land of Death. Some people said that the Forbidden Land contained the ultimate secrets of the Spiritas, and that obtaining it would allow one to live forever. That place was vast and boundless. It seemed to cover the ends of this world. The space inside was folded and filled with bloody fog all day long. No one could see clearly what was inside. Throughout history, countless ancestors of the soul race had entered the Blood Mist Forbidden Land one after another. However, these people had all disappeared. Almost no one had been able to leave the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. No one knew whether they were dead or alive, not even their corpses had been found. In fact, it wasn't just the Spiritas who had entered. Tens of thousands of years ago, the demons had descended from the sky and occupied the Azure Sea realm. They had also discovered the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. They were immediately wild with joy, immediately entering the Blood Mist Restricted Land. However, they also disappeared, not a single one coming out. Even the death-cursing demon sage had explored the Blood Mist Forbidden Land, but it didn't go in. It only stood outside with a frown, pacing back and forth for a long time. It was as if it didn't dare to go in, as if there was a great secret inside. One could imagine how dangerous the blood mist forbidden land was. It was a place that even saints were afraid of. But now, Fong Yang wanted to go to the blood mist forbidden land. Wasn't he courting death? Brother, you're crazy. You're going to the blood mist forbidden land. Don't take us with you if you want to die. The woman in red, Fong Xian, was furious. I'm not crazy. This is a chance for us to survive. Fong Yang coldly said, We've been implanted with cursed power and tracking talismans. Even if we hide at the ends of the Azure Sea realm, those demons will still catch up and kill us. The only reason they haven't killed us yet is because they're treating this as a game. Maybe they want to lure Lu Rulan out and see if she'll come out to save us. That's why we can't continue like this. If we keep running, we'll die. It's better to enter the blood mist forbidden land. That way, we'll be able to escape. This. Fong Xian and the rest fell silent. They didn't know what to say. Of course, I'm not really going there to die. Fong Yang's eyes lit up. I've read from the records of the ancestors of the Soul Tribe that the Bloodmist Forbidden Land might be an important inheritance left behind by our ancestor. The ancestors entered it one after another, hoping to obtain the inheritance. Since they didn't come out, it might not mean that they're dead. Instead, they might have been sent to another world. What? Brother, there's such a secret? Why didn't I know about it? Fong Xian and the rest were shocked. It's normal that you don't know about it. After all, this is a secret that only the clan leader knows. If I hadn't accepted the position of clan leader in the face of danger, I wouldn't have found out about it from the clan leader. Fong Yang said in a low voice. If that's the case, why didn't the clan leader announce this and let us take refuge in the Bloodmist Forbidden Land? Someone asked in confusion. Sigh, this is just a guess, a beautiful guess. After all, if that group of people doesn't come out, they might really be dead. That place is purely a dangerous place. Fong Yang said, so in order to prevent many clansmen from dying in the Bloodmist Forbidden Land, the clan leader concealed this guess. There's no need to cause panic in the clan. But it's different now. We're being chased until we have nowhere to go. Only by entering the Bloodmist Forbidden Land will we have a chance of survival. Since we're going to die anyway, we might as well find an opportunity. We have no other way. Young clan leader is right. Rather than being killed by those monsters, it's better to enter the Bloodmist Forbidden Land and fight for a chance of survival. Fortune comes from danger. Whether we live or die depends on this. Many members of the Soul Tribe nodded. They agreed with Fong Yang's opinion. They would die wherever they went, so they might as well go to the Bloodmist Forbidden Land to find a chance of survival. If that place was really the Soul Tribe's inheritance land, then they could survive. Boom! At this moment, an air-piercing sound came from the sky. A meteorite fell from the sky with terrifying power. Oh no, there's a meteorite! Hide! The group of people cried out in panic. Fong Yang and the rest reacted quickly and quickly left. Dong! Immediately, the meteorite fell, smashing a deep pit, and dense cracks appeared around it. What's this? Fong Yang and the rest looked over. When the smoke and dust dispersed, a figure walked out of the deep pit. The meteorite that fell from the sky had disappeared without a trace. Chapter 2033. Just as Xia Ping arrived at the Azure Sea realm, a black spaceship was flying in the sky tens of thousands of miles away from the landing site. The spaceship was engraved with a black skull pattern, emitting an eerie aura of death. This was the Azure Sea realm's terrifying Cursed Legion. This was the most elite force under the Cursed Demon Saint. The monsters that could enter this force were at least at the Transcendence realm, and there were even quite a few Thunder Tribulation realm monsters. There were hundreds of great monsters inside the spaceship, among which there were 60 to 70 Transcendence realm great monsters and 30 Thunder Tribulation realm monster kings. Captain, we've found the remnants of the soul race. A monster with a crow's head and a pair of black wings spoke expressionlessly. He had used a secret technique to find the remnants of the soul race. Oh, where are they? It's really hard for them to escape. We've surrounded them a few times, but they still manage to escape. A monster king with a lion's head and a human's body said in a low voice. They're in a primeval forest tens of thousands of miles ahead. That place is close to the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. I'm afraid they want to enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land to escape our pursuit. The monster said. What? They're quite bold to dare enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Don't they know how terrifying the Blood Mist Forbidden Land is? Those who enter never come out. Even the cursed demon saint is extremely afraid of that place and doesn't dare to enter easily. They're probably going all out. They know they can't escape, so they want to enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land and fight to the death. If they succeed, they'll be able to live. They have quite a few tricks up their sleeves. In that case, we can't let them succeed easily. Otherwise, they'll really enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land safely. That'll be terrible. You're right. We have to cut off their hope. We won't give them any chance at all. Don't worry, they won't be able to escape. The strongest is only at the Transcendence realm. How can they stop us? But what's the use of capturing the remnants of the soul race? They're just natives of the Azure Sea realm. That's not the way to put it. The soul race is a race left behind by the once famous Blood Soul Saint. They were born with powerful souls and were famous throughout the universe. Unfortunately, the Blood Soul Saint fell and the entire race declined. That's right. This time, Master is going all out to obtain the inheritance of the Blood Soul Saint. He has to capture Lu Rulan. This is related to whether Master will have a great opportunity to improve further. It's extremely important. That is indeed the case. If we can obtain the legacy of the famous Blood Soul Saint, I'm afraid that Master's cursing sage will improve further, reaching an unimaginable level. Naturally, our status will rise as well. Many demon kings discussed with a casual attitude. They completely treated this as a game of hunting and killing, and there was no challenge at all. After all, they were much stronger than the remnants of the soul race. Let alone an entire legion. Even a third of the legion was enough to annihilate the remnants dozens of times over. All right, don't be careless. This is Master's arrangement. We must handle this matter properly and not make any mistake. If we are truly careless and allow those Soul Clan remnants to escape, both of us will suffer Master's wrath. The lion-headed demon king warned. Yes, Captain. Many of the demon kings were shocked. Recalling the rage of their master's cursing sage, they felt a chill run down their spines. If they offended the cursing sage, it would be a fate worse than death. It could be said that the cursing sage's reputation was even more terrifying than many other demon sages. This was because it had mastered the art of cursing and could often curse its enemies to death from thousands of miles away. It was invisible and unstoppable. Let's go. This time, we must finish this battle in one fell swoop. We must not let these remnants escape. The lion-headed demon king gave the order. Whoosh! The black spaceship immediately sped up and chased after Fong Xian and the others. In another place, Xiaoping had just landed in Qinghai realm and immediately kept the spaceship to prevent his identity from being exposed. Before he found Lu Rulan, he did not want to cause any unnecessary trouble. They seemed to be from the soul race. Walking out of the hole, he immediately found Fong Xian and the others beside him. He could sense that these people's aura were not human but from the soul race, which was similar to Lu Rulan's aura. They should be the natives of this world. Ask them what's going on in this world. Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat and he immediately walked over. However, this action made Fong Xian and the others nervous because they had been chased for too long. They were like birds startled by the mere twang of a bough. Any movement would cause them to panic. Stop, don't move. Otherwise, don't blame us for making a move. Fong Xian shouted as a warning. Oh, so what if I move? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and looked at the group. Damn it. Fong Xian was instantly enraged. If she was still the soul race princess, she would have immediately ordered for this rude person to be chopped into pieces and fed to the dogs. Sister, don't be rash. This person's origin is unknown. He seems to be from the outer realm. Don't act rashly and cause unnecessary trouble. Fang Yang secretly used his divine sense to warn his sister. Hearing this, Fang Xian was very unwilling, but she could only listen to her brother's orders. In her eyes, this person who suddenly appeared in front of her did not have any aura. Obviously, he was very weak. Facing such a person, there was no need to be polite. She could just kill him with a palm. Whoosh! Xia Ping took a step forward and arrived in front of the group. If I'm not wrong, you should be from the soul race. What? Hearing this, Fang Xian and the others immediately had goosebumps. They thought that this kid was someone who was chasing after them. However, they were still restrained by the cautious Fang Yang and could not act recklessly. Oh, so what if I am, and so what if I'm not? Fang Yang asked calmly. That's good. I have something to ask you. You'd better answer honestly and don't hide anything. Xia Ping went straight to the point, not wanting to waste too much time. Who do you think you are? You want us to answer you? Do you believe that we won't chop you into pieces? Hearing this, Fang Xian was immediately enraged. Her heart was filled with hostility. After being chased by demons for so long, she had long become extremely violent. Now that a weak human dared to order her around like this, how could this be? Xia Ping did not even look at her and lightly flicked his finger. Dong! Fang Xian did not know what happened. Her entire body was bombarded by a force, and she flew out. She scraped the ground and slid for over 100 kilometers before smashing into a mountain. Sister! Fang Yang was shocked, angry, and afraid. He was shocked and angry that this kid dared to attack his sister, but he was also frightened by this stranger's terrifying strength. To be able to so easily send his sister flying like a ball without them being able to react, this power was simply not to be underestimated. Chapter 2034. Sister, are you all right? Fang Yang asked nervously as he looked at his sister. I'm fine. Fang Xian was also scared half to death. Her face was ashen as she trembled all over. Xia Ping's attack just now made her feel as if her life had been frozen in water. It was as if even her spirit had been torn apart. She could not control her body in any way as she retreated. This was simply the moment when she was on the verge of death. Countless scenes from the past emerged from the depths of her mind like flashing lights. At that moment, she felt so regretful that her intestines turned green. If she had known that this person was so terrifying, she would not have been so talkative. This was simply a disaster from the mouth. At this moment, she also clearly realized that she was no longer the princess of the soul race, but just a stray dog. Just when she thought that she was dead for sure, she completely regained her composure. She discovered that there was not the slightest injury on her body. She had only been sent flying. All of a sudden, she was pleasantly surprised. She had actually wandered between life and death several times, feeling the joy of being reborn. What? She's really fine. Fang Yang also sensed his sister's situation. On one hand, he was relieved, but on the other hand, he was aghast and extremely shocked. There was even a look of disbelief on his face. This was because to be able to send his sister flying without any resistance and also leave her unscathed, this was an astonishing level of control. It was simply the use of power to the acme of perfection. Perhaps only those who had martial arts cultivation far beyond their realm, experts at the almighty level, could do such a thing. This strength was something that even their soul race's grand elder could not do. One could imagine that the cultivation of this mysterious person in front of them had reached an unimaginable level. Thinking of this, Fang Yang immediately lowered his attitude. He came in front of Xia Ping and said humbly, "Senior, I'm sorry. My sister was disrespectful just now. I hope you can be magnanimous and forgive her this time." Seeing Xia Ping's appearance, Fang Xian was also terrified, and did not dare to speak any more nonsense. The other soul race warriors also looked at Xia Ping with great vigilance. Don't worry too much. This is a small punishment to warn you. The goal is to let you speak properly. Or if you think it's not enough and that a few people need to die before you can speak properly, I can fulfill your wish. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, his body filled with a terrifying murderous aura. Immediately, many soul warriors felt as though they had fallen into a hell of corpses and blood. A chill surged from the soles of their feet and directly rose to the top of their heads. It was as though even their souls had been frozen by this killing intent. Against this human, they were completely powerless. It was as if he could kill them all with a single thought. No, no, no. Of course we can talk nicely. What does Senior want to know? I will tell you everything I know. Fang Yang said again, and quickly lowered his attitude. If he provoked the mysterious man in front of him, he would die now before the pursuers came. Damn it! Fang Xian and the others were very unwilling. If the Patriarch and the Great Elder were still here, this guy would have been killed long ago. How would he dare to threaten them like this? This was simply a case of a tiger being bullied by a dog. Very well, then let me ask you, what kind of world is this? Who are you people? Also, which force is the most powerful in this world? Xia Ping asked a series of questions. He didn't care about exposing his identity as an outsider at all. With his current strength, apart from saints, there was no one that could make him feel fear. Hearing this, Fang Yang's eyes flashed. To be able to ask this kind of question meant that this person was most likely not from this world, but someone from the outer realm. Just like the Killing Curse Saint and the other monsters, they were also experts from the outer realm. He didn't find it strange at all when they came from the outer realm. However, he quickly restrained his emotions and respectfully told them some of the information he knew. 10 minutes later, Fang Yang finally told them everything he knew. In any case, this information was already known to everyone, so it didn't matter if he told them. I see. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. From what Fang Yang said, he knew that the most powerful force in the Azure Sea realm was the Killing Curse Saint. It was this demon saint that ruled this world. Moreover, this demon saint had only arrived in this world tens of thousands of years ago. It seemed that it had unintentionally discovered this world. As a result, the Soul Clan was ruled by it and had always been oppressed. However, this situation completely changed when Lu Rulan came. Lu Rulan completely activated the Soul Hall inheritance of this world, which attracted the attention of the Killing Curse Saint. In the end, the Killing Curse Saint wanted to capture Lu Rulan alive to obtain the inheritance of the Blood Soul Saint. It didn't expect Lu Rulan to have a backup plan. She had various tricks left behind by the Blood Soul Saint, which allowed her to escape easily. However, this completely angered the Killing Curse Saint. It captured all the people from the Soul Clan and killed them one by one in an attempt to force Lu Rulan to appear. However, Lu Rulan never appeared, and the Soul Clan suffered heavy casualties. Because they had predicted the danger beforehand, Fang Yang and the other nobles escaped immediately and barely escaped with their lives. Unfortunately, their auras were already known by the group of monsters. If they leaked even a little bit of their aura, the group of monsters would know and chase them from tens of thousands of miles away. There was no way to escape. Senior, we're being chased by the Monster Kings. The situation is critical. If you continue to stay with us, I'm afraid you'll be mistaken as an accomplice and meet with misfortune. Fang Yang warned them vaguely, indicating that they were already in big trouble. If they continued to stay with them, they would definitely become a thorn in the side of the Monster Kings. He hoped to send this plague away as soon as possible so that they could reach the blood mist forbidden land in peace. At that moment, Xia Ping suddenly sensed something. He lifted his head and looked into the sky. Fang Yang and the rest also saw Xia Ping's strange behavior. They couldn't help but look over as well. However, what they saw made their souls jump in fright. It was because a black spaceship was flying over from afar like a fish. There was a skull pattern on the spaceship, emitting an eerie aura of death. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, more than 100 figures flew out from the black spaceship. Each of them exuded a powerful aura that was as deep as the abyss. They stood in the void and looked at Fang Yang and the rest mockingly. It was as though they were looking at ants. The leader of the group of monster kings, who had a lion head and a human body, laughed coldly. Found them. The remnants of the Soul Clan. Attack and capture all of them alive. Kill anyone who dares to resist. Leave no one alive. Kill. Chapter 2035. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. In an instant, more than a dozen demon kings attacked at the same time from all directions, covering the sky and earth, completely surrounding Fang Yang and the others. The surrounding demon chi soared into the sky, and the black fog filled the air, forming a storm, sweeping everything. They only sent out a portion of their troops, and the other demon kings were watching. Because if all the demon kings were dispatched, it would be like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. Oh no, it's the Cursed Legion. How did they arrive so quickly? We clearly got rid of them by tens of thousands of kilometers. The group of soul warriors saw this scene, and their expressions changed drastically. They were scared out of their wits, as if they had met the Grim Reaper. Because the Cursed Legion was too terrifying, there were many experts in it. Their clan leader, elders, great elders, and countless elite warriors died in their hand. No matter how powerful the warriors were, in front of this legion, they were as weak as ants. Once the other party attacked, it meant that they would suffer countless casualties. Now this legion actually sent out more than 100 demon kings. It was simply an elite force, and they surrounded them in all directions. Were they all going to die today? It's over, it's completely over. We're dead. What should we do, escape? Fang Xian panicked and quickly transmitted her voice. Although she was in despair at the moment, her strong desire to survive dominated her. She still didn't want to die, especially after experiencing life and death just now. She didn't want to die even more. Escape? How can we escape? Hundreds of demon kings have gathered, sealing the sky and locking the earth. There's no way to escape, we can only wait for death. Fang Yang was also in despair. He could sense that the demon kings who did not attack were not watching the show, but intentionally or unintentionally sealed the space to prevent them from escaping. Under such close surveillance, it was as difficult as ascending to heaven to escape from these demon kings. Right, there's also this mysterious man. He's strong. If he makes a move, he will definitely be able to resist for a while. In this way we can use him as a shield and escape easily. Fang Xian transmitted her voice and immediately came up with an idea to let Xia Ping be a scapegoat. Don't worry, he's already on the same boat as us. We don't need to encourage him. He will make a move, otherwise we will all die. Fang Yang's eyes revealed a vicious look. Boom. At this moment, more than 10 demon kings charged over from the sky. They transformed into demonic winds and moved as fast as lightning, reaching an unbelievable speed. In an instant, they arrived before everyone. Remnant of the soul race, surrender immediately. Kneel on the ground and beg for mercy, or you will be killed without mercy. The dozen or so monster kings roared angrily, emitting a powerful pressure in an attempt to subdue Fang Yang and the others. Scram! Xia Ping stood there with a calm expression. He looked at the group of monster kings and said, "Don't make me angry. If you leave now, I can pretend that this never happened. Otherwise, all of you will die. Do you understand?" Upon hearing this, the surrounding Spirita's warriors were all dumbfounded. Was this kid crazy? Did he not know what the current situation was? He actually dared to provoke him. Could it be that he didn't want to die fast enough? Fang Xian and the others were overjoyed. Idiot, truly an idiot. Even at this point, he still dares to provoke us. Those demon kings will definitely be enraged by his words and will definitely kill him. Indeed, the dignity of the Curse-Killer Legion cannot be humiliated, and they cannot tolerate sand in their eyes. This kid is dead. However, this person's background is unfathomable and his martial strength is extraordinary. He may not die so easily. The stronger the better. It's best if this kid dies together with these demon kings. We can then reap the benefits and obtain the treasures on these people to strengthen ourselves. Fang Yang, Fang Xian, and the others were overjoyed. They secretly communicated with their divine senses. They did not expect that Xia Ping would take the initiative to provoke them at this time. He took the initiative to fight them. This was the same as taking the initiative to die in their place. They felt that their luck today was too good. They actually encountered such an idiot. Perhaps today was their lucky day, blessed by their ancestors. What? There are actually humans in this place? Where did they come from? Who cares where they came from? If they dare to obstruct our Curse-Killer Legion, they will all die. Kill them all together. Dismember their body into 1,000 pieces. These demon kings were furious. As the strongest army under the command of the demon sage of the killing curse, they were somewhat famous even in the central universe. Needless to say, in this Qinghai realm, they were simply invincible, causing people to tremble in fear. Now, there was actually someone who saw them and was not afraid. He even neighed and stopped them on the spot. How could this be? Wasn't this the same as tearing the ground on the head of a tiger? Boom! More than a dozen monster kings immediately turned around and attacked Xia Ping. The demonic wind formed a terrible storm, destroying heaven and earth. It seemed as if it would raise the surrounding tens of millions of kilometers to the ground. The wild wind that swept up in all directions suddenly turned into sharp blades, cutting the ground into countless ravines. In the distance, mountains were flattened by the wind blades. Fang Yang and the others were also sent flying by this demonic wind. They could not stand steadily at all. Their hearts were cold. Just the demonic wind that came from around them was enough to make them unable to fight back. If they fought head-on, they would probably all die in a single exchange. Ah, why do you want to die? Why bother? Xia Ping sighed and shook his head. He did not do anything. He just punched the void. This one punch seemed to have turned the area within a radius of 1,000 miles into a vacuum zone. All the air was expelled, forming a terrifying spatial barrier. The entire world shook fiercely. Heaven and earth were in chaos, and ripples appeared in the surrounding void. Dong! The dozen or so monster kings did not know what had happened. Their eyes were wide open, and their faces were filled with malevolent, evil, and cruel expressions. It was the kind that made people shiver. But in the next second their bodies shattered. They were forcibly flattened by a mass of air and crushed into meat paste. Boom! More than a dozen fireworks appeared in the air. The bodies of these monster kings exploded into pieces and turned into meat paste. Blood flew in all directions like fireworks. Fang Yang and the other soul warriors were dumbfounded. They were so shocked that they could not even close their mouth. Those were more than a dozen monster kings, terrifying experts who could slaughter more than half of their soul race. There were also existences in the lightning tribulation realm among them. Such experts were insufferably arrogant and invincible. But what happened now? With just a single punch, more than a dozen monster kings were blown up. Their bodies shattered like watermelons. Such a scene was too shocking. Even if they exhausted their imaginations, they would not have thought of such a thing. What happened? Fang Xian was in disbelief. She did not expect that more than a dozen terrifying monster kings would be killed just like that. They were unable to resist at all. Chapter 2036. How could this be? In the air, the monster kings were completely dumbfounded. They'd originally been watching this massacre as if they were watching a good show. This was a one-sided battle, something to talk about after a meal. But what had happened now? In the blink of an eye, more than 10 powerful monster kings had been killed, blown apart by a single punch from this human. Powerful, he's just too powerful. He killed more than 10 of our companions with a single punch. This kind of power is at least at the titled Monster King level. Damn it, how could such a human expert appear in a place like this? He's definitely an outsider. He can't be a native of the Azure Sea realm. How could this be? This world has long since been sealed by Master. It's impossible for outsiders to invade. How did this human get here? The Monster Kings were all panicking. They'd never encountered something like this before. In their eyes, this was just an ordinary mission. They didn't care about this human who'd suddenly appeared. They could kill him at any time. But now they'd kicked an iron plate. Run, hurry and run. Report to Master that an enemy has invaded the Azure Sea realm. Send reinforcements to surround and kill them. The lion-headed leader sent a divine sense transmission. The current situation was extremely complicated. The Azure Sea realm had been invaded by a human. Someone had broken through Master's restrictive spell formation. This was unprecedented. They had to find out what had happened. They couldn't fight to the death with this mysterious human. You think this is your home? You can come and go as you please. Do you think this is your home? Xia Ping calmly looked at the Monster Kings. Boom. In an instant, an incomparably terrifying pressure erupted from his body. This was the might of a divine beast. It was as if a mythical figure had walked out of the primal chaos. Just a wisp of his aura could crush the heavens. At this moment, the entire world fell silent. All living things were silent. The air stopped flowing. All the air currents stopped moving. Everything had completely stabilized. The water droplets and dust in the air stopped moving. The surrounding trees, weeds, and other plants stopped swaying. The insects on the ground seemed to have been immobilized. They suddenly stopped moving. All the Monster Kings that were trying to escape stopped. Their bodies were frozen in place. Even Fang Yang and the other soul warriors were unable to move. Even the magic power within their bodies had stopped circulating. Some demon monarchs attempted to flap their wings and soar into the sky. Some demon monarchs took a step forward, while others turned around. Some demon monarchs opened their mouths as though they wanted to say something, but all of them stopped. The surrounding void seemed to solidify, as if it had turned into an eternal picture. The only thing that could move was their minds. They could barely think. They wanted to move, but their bodies wouldn't listen to them. The only one who could move in this world was Xia Ping. I am a petty person who will seek revenge for the smallest grievance. Xia Ping stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his expression indifferent. I might not remember those who gave me benefits, but if you offended me, I would never forget it, not even if the heavens and earth grew old. You dared to attack me and unleash your killing intent, so you are my enemies and you must die. Since you're courting death, you can't blame anyone else. He stood where he was, and his body naturally emitted a terrifying pressure. The surrounding soul warriors and demon monarchs were alarmed. Even if they wanted to move, they couldn't. The pressure was terrifying to the extreme, as though countless sealing array formations were pressing down on them. Many demon monarchs from the Cursed Death Legion were terrified, and their souls trembled. They were all demon monarchs, and many of them had reached the Lightning Retribution realm, or even the peak of the Lightning Retribution realm. This power, except for sages, could sweep away almost everything. Even the famous titled demon monarchs could be easily crushed by their power. Therefore, when they moved, they were simply invincible, not putting anyone in their eyes. But now, this kid in front of them didn't even move. Just the terrifying pressure emitted from his body was enough to make the world tremble, making them unable to move. What kind of power was this? Was he still considered a Lightning Retribution realm powerhouse? This was too exaggerated. But before they could think for long, Xia Ping stretched out his hand and pressed down gently. Bang! Bang! In midair, the bodies of the demon monarchs immediately exploded like watermelons shattering. Their primordial spirits were also shattered in an instant, and a large amount of blood poured down like raindrop. A large amount of blood poured into the ravine deep in the ground, seemingly turning into a blood river, and the surroundings were filled with a strong smell of blood. Whoosh! A vortex naturally appeared in Xia Ping's body, with his body as the center, producing a terrifying devouring power. Deep in the void, the broken soul energy was automatically absorbed by his body. The soul energy of hundreds of demon monarchs quickly flowed into the depths of his primordial spirit. His primordial spirit was also growing bit by bit, and the magic power in his body was also rising. Although the soul energy of hundreds of demon monarchs was nothing to the current Xia Ping, and devouring it was better than nothing, it was still better than putting out a cart of firewood with a cup of water. If this continued for a long time, there would definitely be earth-shaking changes. This was the so-called cultivation, the accumulation of daily little by little, in the end, would form a river and an ocean. Whoosh! Xia Ping waved his hand and stored the bodies of the dead demon monarchs. The flesh and blood of these demon monarchs also contained a lot of essence energy, and in the space of the mountain river pearl, they would be good fertilizer. He also took away the storage rings of these demon monarchs, and obtained many magic treasures, spiritual medicine, and pills. Where were we just now? After killing all the demon monarchs, Xia Ping turned around and looked at Fang Xian and the others, who were already stunned. Ah, this! Fang Xian and the others were dumbfounded. They did not know what to say to this terrifying existence in front of them, who had killed hundreds of demon monarchs with a wave of his hand. At this moment, endless fear and horror surged in their hearts. This was because if the other party wanted to, he could crush all of them at any time and place. Blood Mist Forbidden Land, we were just talking about the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Fang Yang was the first to regain his senses, and he hurriedly said, afraid that if he was a step too late, he would anger the demon in front of him, and cause the people of the Soul Clan to die without a burial place. Very well, where is the Blood Mist Forbidden Land? Take me there immediately. Xia Ping was very curious about this place. Even the Killing Curse Sage was afraid to enter this place, so it must contain endless secrets. Perhaps Lu Rulan was in this forbidden land. Yes, yes, yes. Fang Yang nodded repeatedly. He did not dare to disobey Xia Ping's request. Chapter 2037. A day later, Xia Ping and the others finally arrived at the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. As soon as they approached the Forbidden Land, they immediately discovered that the vast area was surrounded by a blood mist. It seemed to be boundless and permeated the void. No one knew how big the Forbidden Land was. At the same time, the blood mist seemed to contain a power that interfered with divine sense. If one probed it with divine sense, they would immediately be corroded by the blood mist. It even transmitted a terrifying demonic aura that corroded the soul. Interesting. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He activated the Golden Crow's Eye of Hell and immediately saw that this forbidden area was extraordinary. It was a saint-level spell formation that enveloped the void, and the entire ground was densely covered with spell formation inscriptions. This was probably the work of the Blood Soul Saint. Only such an existence could set up a saint-class formation like this. It was no wonder that the demon saint did not dare to enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land at will. After all, this might be the Blood Soul Saint's lair. No one knew what the Blood Soul Saint had left behind. However, it wasn't so difficult for Xia Ping. His eyes penetrated through space and saw through the illusion, and he clearly analyzed the profundities of this formation. He understood it clearly, and he understood it from the bottom of his heart. Are we really going to enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land? Fang Xian and the other soul warriors were uneasy and terrified. The Blood Mist Forbidden Land's infamy had long spread throughout the Qinghai realm. It had been deeply implanted in their hearts for countless years. Everyone knew that it was a forbidden land of no return. Moreover, this was not a legend. It was a fact. Almost every year, people would try to explore the Blood Mist Forbidden Land and disappear inside. At the thought that they were about to enter such a forbidden area, They felt a chill run down their spines and had the thought of retreating. "Of course," Fong Yang said matter-of-factly. "In order to avoid being chased by those monsters, we can only enter the blood mist forbidden land. Otherwise, we will die sooner or later." Yes. Hearing this, many soul warriors nodded. It was true. If they had a choice, they naturally did not want to go in. However, they had no choice now. If they did not go in, they would die. If they went in, they might have a chance of survival, even if it was a narrow escape. "Let's go in." Xia Ping did not want to waste time with these people. He lifted his foot and walked in. The wish compass was also guiding him. Lu Rulan should be deep inside the Forbidden Land. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. When Fong Yang and the others saw this, they did not hesitate and followed in. Boom! As soon as they entered the blood mist Forbidden Land, everyone immediately felt that they had fallen into an endless blood mist. The surrounding blood mist seemed to have a life of its own as it drilled into the 108,000 pores of their bodies. Immediately, they couldn't help but let out a moan. The blood-colored mist was like a great supplement to their energy, crazily pouring into their bodies, increasing the energy of their flesh and blood. My heavens! My magic power! My nascent divinity! They're all increasing at a crazy rate. What is this blood mist? Why is it able to increase our strength? It's too fast. The speed of cultivation is just too fast. It's as if every breath is equivalent to 3 months of cultivation. Could this be the holy land of cultivation that the ancestor has bestowed upon our soul clan? As expected, this place is the treasure of my soul race, not some forbidden land. Many soul warriors were extremely excited. They felt that their cultivation, which had not loosened for a long time, had begun to loosen after devouring the massive amount of blood-colored fog. Their dermic powers and cultivation were increasing at a visible rate. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He didn't feel this way because the blood-colored fog had seeped into his body and was trying to invade his soul, destroying it crazily. Even the surrounding restrictive array formations were extremely malicious towards him. A huge amount of corrosive energy seemed to wrap around his entire body, corroding him completely, leaving not a single drop behind. Clearly, the restrictive formation in this forbidden land was specially designed to deal with outsiders. If someone who wasn't a member of the soul race entered, he would be treated as an enemy and be annihilated. "Corinne, do you know what this blood-colored fog is?" Xia Ping asked. Upon hearing this, Corinne immediately replied, "Be careful. This is the famous corrosive soul fog. It seems that the blood soul saint created it by absorbing the soul fog from the depths of the dimension. If you devour the soul fog, you can immediately obtain a massive amount of soul energy. For the soul race, this is simply a great tonic, equivalent to the primordial chi of the human race's holy land. However, the blood soul saint is sinister and ruthless. He even modified this soul fog. It seems that he added special substances such as evil chi, corrosive chi, curse chi, and so on into it, creating the corrosive soul fog. As a result, this fog has a strong repellent property. If someone who isn't from another race enters the fog, they will be completely corroded, leaving nothing behind. Corinne said that when the blood soul saint was rampaging through the universe, every time he started a war, he would summon the corrosive soul fog to envelop the entire battlefield. Wherever he went, he was invincible, causing countless deaths and injuries. After all, staying in the corrosive soul fog not only greatly increased the strength of the soul race warriors, but also accelerated the recovery of their soul power. However, other races would be rapidly corroded and wouldn't be a match for it at all. Soul fog? It looks like a good thing. Devour it for me. Upon hearing this, Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He operated the devouring magical ability in his body, and a Taotai appeared behind him. It opened its mouth, and a black hole appeared, producing a terrifying devouring power. Not only did he not repel the blood-colored fog, but he also took the initiative to devour it into his body. Although the blood-colored fog was extremely harmful to other races and had a strong repellent property, it was still a huge amount of pure energy. Under the Taoye's devouring magical ability, no matter what it would be devoured cleanly. Everything would be completely refined, including the blood-colored fog. It couldn't harm him at all. Whoosh, with his body as the center, the area within a radius of 1,000 kilometers turned into a huge whirlpool. Like a whale swallowing, the huge amount of blood-colored fog frantically surged into Xiaoping's body. Phew! Xiaoping took a deep breath and felt extremely comfortable. It was as if with every breath he took, he could devour a huge amount of soul energy. This was several times better than killing a few Thunder Tribulation Realm experts. He felt that his primordial spirit was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The range of his divine sense was also expanding bit by bit, and the 9 purple mansion spaces were also expanding. Buzz, the entire restriction formation seemed to be a little stunned at this moment. It completely didn't expect such a thing to happen. In the face of the corrosive soul fog, someone who wasn't from the soul race was actually able to devour and absorb it wantonly. It was too unreasonable. Chapter 2038. Gulp, gulp. Xiaoping continued to devour the fog around him. In just a few breaths, the blood-colored fog within 1,000 miles was completely devoured. Even the blood-colored fog in the distance continued to fill in the gap. However, Fang Yang and the others could see the color of the blood-colored fog. It seemed that because of Xiaoping's devouring, the color of the fog had dimmed and become much thinner. Many of the Spirita's warriors were stunned. For tens of thousands of years, the Scarlet Forbidden Land had remained unchanged for tens of thousands of years. But because of this human, it had become like this. Could it be that this fellow wanted to devour all the scarlet fog? They were shocked, angry, anxious, and panicked because they could feel that the fog was beneficial to their bodies. This should be a fortuitous encounter that the old ancestor had bestowed upon the soul race. But now it was actually taken away by an outsider. They were so angry that they could not wait to drive this bastard away. But after careful consideration, they still endured it because they could not defeat him at all. Beep, beep. At this moment, a mechanical voice seemed to come from the depths of the void. Emergency! Emergency! Taotai invasion! Taotai invasion! Suggested immediate expulsion! Suggested immediate expulsion! Huh! Xiaoping blinked. He realized that the surrounding restrictive formation seemed to have changed. Formation after formation appeared from the depths of the void, filled with dense spatial energy. The spatial energy quickly turned into transparent spatial chains. One after another, thousands of them flew over, trying to capture Xiaoping and directly teleport him out. Obviously, the restrictive formation here could not kill a Taotai, so it could only teleport him out. This was also the second defensive restrictive formation of the Scarlet Forbidden Land. How stingy! Didn't I just devour a little bit of your soul fog? Is this necessary? And you want to teleport me away? Xiaoping was very angry. He felt that this blood soul saint was too stingy. He had only devoured a little bit of the corrosive soul fog, and yet the restrictive formation's defensive mechanism was activated to teleport him away. It was like sending away a god of plague. He did not have the generosity of a saint at all. Of course, as he spoke, he also tried his best to swallow a few mouthfuls. The blood-colored fog within a radius of thousands of miles was completely devoured by him. It was as if the entire area had been emptied. And this action further stimulated the restrictive formation, speeding up the formation of the spatial restrictive formation. Immediately, an energy barrier formed, enveloping Xiaoping and teleporting him away. I'm done playing with you guys. Xiaoping didn't want to be teleported away. Otherwise, he wouldn't know where he would be teleported to. He didn't know how long it would take for him to return to the Azure Sea Realm. His infernal golden crow's eyes shone brightly, and he saw through the densely packed restrictive spells in the void. At the same time, he discovered the 36 flaws of this restrictive spell formation. Whoosh! Xia Ping's silhouette flickered as he took a step forward. Using space teleportation, he instantly escaped from the range of the restrictive spells. The surrounding space fluctuated. In an instant, he disappeared from where he stood. He traveled through space and arrived in the deepest part of the blood mist forbidden area. As for the other Soul Race clansmen, he didn't want to continue paying attention to them. Whether they lived or died would depend on their luck. In the next second, a spatial ripple appeared, and Xia Ping's figure appeared in another place. He found that he had arrived in a palace, and this place was a bathroom like a hot spring. However, this was no ordinary hot spring bath, because what flowed in the hot spring was not water, but liquid refined from all kinds of precious spiritual medicines. Every drop was priceless and contained enormous medicinal power. If one could cultivate in such a hot spring, one's cultivation speed would increase by leaps and bounds. Just by smell alone, Xia Ping could sniff out hundreds of familiar 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines and 10,000-year-old spiritual medicines. At that moment, he realized that a graceful figure had appeared in the middle of the medicinal hot spring. She was graceful and exquisite, and seemed to be absorbing the medicinal power in the hot spring, condensing her spiritual power. Xia Ping activated his infernal golden crow's eyes and saw through the steam. He saw the figure in the hot spring. It was none other than Lu Rulan. She was completely naked in the hot spring, and her beautiful eyes were closed. She exuded a mature and charming aura, and at the same time, a hint of elegance. She was like a high and mighty saint. After not seeing her for a few years, Lu Rulan seemed to have become more mature and charming. Her every move contained a flirtatious aura. Her beauty was shocking, and he couldn't take his eyes off her. "Who's there?" Suddenly, Lu Rulan seemed to sense an outsider's aura. She opened her beautiful eyes, and there was a glimmer of light in them. She immediately slammed her palm in Xia Ping's direction. The power of this palm alone had reached the level of a Dharma plane cultivator. Dong! Xia Ping pointed his finger lightly, and the power of the palm instantly turned into nothingness. It was as if it had entered a quagmire, and all the force disappeared without a trace. What? Lu Rulan was shocked. She didn't expect this invader to be so powerful. Could it be that the curse-killing demon saint's subordinate had already passed through the blood mist forbidden ground and arrived here? Thinking about this, she didn't hesitate and immediately used the Soul Clan's supreme magical power, Intrusive Dream. Buzz buzz in the blink of an eye, with her body as the center, the powerful divine sense of the soul race spread out, permeating a radius of several hundred kilometers. It was silent and seemed to pull the souls of all living beings in this area into a dream. Although the name of this magical power was ordinary, its effect was extremely terrifying. Once hit by this magical power, even a peak Thunder Tribulation realm cultivator would be pulled into a dream. If they were to lose the battle in the dream, they would die. Even if they managed to stay undefeated, Lu Rulan could still take the opportunity to escape. Interesting. Xia Ping naturally felt the power of this spiritual magical power. With Lu Rulan's spiritual power, she could defeat most cultivators, but that didn't include him. If he didn't want to, no matter how powerful Lu Rulan was, she wouldn't be able to shake his primordial spirit. However, he didn't resist or struggle. Instead, he allowed the power of the dream to pull him into the dream. Boom! In the next second, Xia Ping's and Lu Rulan's silhouettes appeared in the dreamland. It was a pure white world. Tell me, who are you? How did you get into the blood mist forbidden ground? Wait, you're not the subordinate of the curse-killing demon saint. You're Xia Ping? What are you doing here? Initially, Lu Rulan had a serious look on her face as she tried to interrogate this invader. However, she soon realized that the figure in front of her was the partner that she had been thinking about day and night, the one who had undergone dual cultivation, Xia Ping. She was stunned. She had never imagined that she would see Xia Ping again like this. I didn't expect you to be so proactive. Is your body that hungry? Xia Ping took a step forward and immediately hugged Lu Rulan's slender waist. Hungry my *SS pervert. Let go of me. Chapter 2039. The night passed. In one of the palaces in the blood-mist forbidden land, thunder rumbled and a scream was heard. Then, it stopped abruptly as if a storm had just passed. Then, there was an endless silence. Gangster, scumbag, liar. Lu Rulan's pretty face was flushed as she glared at Xia Ping. This B***starred was a beast. They had just met and he had already pushed her down. While she was unprepared, he took advantage of the situation. In the end, she was eaten by this gangster and lost her innocence. It was her fault for not insisting. Under this B***starred sweet words, she gave in and lost her innocence, turning from a girl to a woman. However, she could not do anything about it. She had gone through spiritual dual cultivation with Xia Ping. Both of them were naturally close as if they had lived together for decades. Now that they had not seen each other for years, as the saying went, absence makes the heart grow fonder. The telepathic heart technique was activated and burned. Moreover, a man and a woman were alone in a room. It was like dry wood meeting fire. How am I a liar? Xia Ping felt innocent and blinked. He had always thought of himself as an honest man. How are you not a liar? You said you're just going to rub around and not go in. I'd be a fool to believe you. You men are all bad. Lu Rulan spat and bit Xia Ping's shoulder hard. However, this B***starred skin was as tough as cowhide. Even if she was a puppy, she could not break his skin. I'm not lying. It was just an accident. At first, I just rubbed against you, but I accidentally slipped in. It's an accident. No one wants it to happen. Xia Ping said casually, indicating that it was just an accident. Hee. Lu Rulan chuckled. She felt that this B***starred skin was not only as tough as cowhide, but his skin was also extremely thick. He was impenetrable. Even a sacred weapon might not be able to penetrate his skin. Slipped in accidentally? Why didn't you slide somewhere else? Boom. At that moment, the entire palace shook violently. What's going on? Could it be that such tremors are normal in the blood-soul forbidden land? Xia Ping squinted his eyes. It's not normal. Lu Rulan shook her head. This means that someone outside has passed the test of the blood mist forbidden land. Someone from the Soul Clan has entered the forbidden land, which triggered the activation of the blood mist forbidden land. She looked at Xia Ping strangely because only the soul race could enter the blood mist forbidden ground. Anyone else who entered the blood mist forbidden ground would die. The subordinates of the cursed demon saint tried to break in, but they all died without exception. But this guy was able to come in, and he didn't even trigger the restrictive formation of this forbidden area. It was extremely strange. However, Lu Rulan did not know that Xia Ping had seen through the weakness of the restrictive formation and came over in one step. This was equivalent to cheating in the exam through the back door. It was normal that he didn't trigger a reaction from the restrictive array formation. So that's how it is. It seems that Fang Yang's group of Soul Clan members have passed the test and walked in. Xia Ping nodded, indicating that he understood. Fang Yang? How did you meet them? Lu Rulan furrowed her brows when she heard this. Xia Ping replied, as soon as I arrived in the Azure Sea realm, I ran into them. He then told her about his encounter with Fang Yang and the others, indicating that they had only met by chance. Why? It seems like you're not very friendly to people of the same race. Xia Ping asked. Friendly? Lu Rulan laughed coldly. When I was first teleported to the Azure Sea realm, I thought that they would be friendly since we're from the same race. However, I didn't expect that when this group of people saw me, they revealed ferocious expressions and immediately wanted to capture me. They wanted to interrogate me about my origins, obtain my magic treasures, secret techniques, and so on. They even wanted to torture me. Fortunately, I had the Blood Soul Saint's talisman. In order to protect me, they couldn't do anything to me at all. In the end, they could only live in peace with me. Even so, they sent a maid to monitor me at all times. Of course, on the surface, they said that they would send a maid to serve me, but how could I not know what they were thinking? As the holy lady of the soul race with the heavenly soul constitution, Lu Rulan was born with the ability to see through people's minds. What happened next? What happened next? Xia Ping nodded. He had expected this, because he could sense that Fang Yang and the others were hiding something. They might even be up to no good and had many ulterior motives. Therefore, he was not surprised. After that, I accidentally activated the soul race's inheritance in the Azure Sea realm. As a result, I attracted the killing demon saint's attention. A large number of demons and ghosts came to kill me, and even the killing demon saint personally took action. Lu Rulan said in a low voice, "Fortunately, I activated the inheritance. At the crucial moment, the restrictive formation directly teleported me to the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. That's how I managed to avoid the killing demon saint's pursuit. Although this Blood Mist Forbidden Land is powerful, it might not be able to withstand the killing demon saint, right?" Xia Ping felt that the restrictive formation of the Blood Mist Forbidden Land did not seem to be able to withstand the power of the saint. It's not that it can withstand the power of the saint, but this place contains many powerful, profound, and mysterious spatial formations, Lu Rulan said. If the killing demon saint enters, it will immediately be teleported to a perilous place in the universe. Even an immortal saint would die in a perilous place like that. Therefore, the killing demon saint sensed the danger and was unwilling to enter. I see. Xia Ping indicated that he understood. The spatial restrictions from before were indeed powerful. If he did not have the infernal golden crow's eye and powerful spatial divine power, he probably would not have been able to escape from the restrictive formation. If the killing demon saint had not found the flaw in the restrictive formation, it would definitely have been teleported away. It would not have been able to withstand it at all. Even if the opponent was an immortal saint, if he were to go to some perilous place in the universe, he would probably die. This was also a sinister plan left behind by the Blood Soul Saint. If this is the soul race's land of inheritance, it shouldn't be dangerous for the soul race to enter. Why has no one been able to leave this place after so many years, leaving behind the legend of the Forbidden Land? Xia Ping asked curiously. That's because this place is one of the soul race's supreme lands of inheritance. The requirements for the soul race warriors are extremely high. If they can't meet the requirements, they will stay here forever, unable to leave the land of inheritance, until they die of old age. Lu Rulan said that for countless years, no soul race warrior had met the requirements of the land of inheritance. Therefore, no one had been able to leave. That was why the legend of the Forbidden Land had been left behind, which terrified countless soul race warriors. Of course, I'm different. I've passed the trial long ago and can leave at any time. Chapter 2040. Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Fang Yang and the others had basically passed through the Blood Mist Forbidden Land and arrived at a square. They saw that there were palaces around them, and the surroundings were also covered with densely packed restrictive formations, exuding a heart-palpitating aura. Is this the depths of the Blood Mist Forbidden Land? It's really incredible. Someone immediately sighed when he saw this scene. Previously, they thought that the Blood Mist Forbidden Land was a devil's lair, with countless people dying in and out. But now they actually entered so easily and none of them died. It was really incredible. I knew that the old ancestor wouldn't harm us. This place is the rise of our soul clan. Hiding in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land, even those demons can't attack us. We can recuperate in this place. Some of the Spirita's warriors laughed heartily, almost weeping bitter tears. After fleeing for such a long time, they could finally rest in peace. They were completely safe. Even if the group of demons under the demon saint of killing curse knew that they were hiding in the blood mist forbidden land, they probably wouldn't be able to break in. Fang Yang, Fang Xin, and the others were also overjoyed. They knew that they had indeed made the right bet. The blood mist forbidden land, which made countless people tremble in fear, was actually the treasure land of their soul clan. But where did that mysterious person go? Why can't I see him? Someone asked. They didn't know what Xia Ping's real name was, and they weren't even very clear about his origins. They could only refer to him as a mysterious person. They also looked around, but they still couldn't find any trace of Xia Ping. He probably died in that blood mist. This is the holy land of our soul clan. Only death awaits any outsider who enters. Even if that guy is powerful, there's no exception. Fang Xian sneered. Previously, that bastard had brought her a lot of humiliation. If he died now, it couldn't be better. It could be considered revenge. The others also nodded. They also felt that the mysterious person's chances of survival were not high. After all, even a tyrannical figure like the demon saint of killing curse didn't dare to enter this place. A mere mysterious person was nothing. Could that guy be stronger than the demon saint? Even thinking about it with their knees, they felt that it was impossible. But is Lu Rulan hiding in this place? Is that why the cursed devil saint hasn't found her? Someone suddenly asked, mentioning Lu Rulan's name. If that bitch is hiding in this place, I'll definitely teach her a lesson. It's all that bitch's fault for causing the deaths of our people. Even cutting her into 1,000 pieces wouldn't be too much. Fang Xian was filled with killing intent. The eyes of the other soul race warriors also revealed a malicious glint. It was obvious that they hated Lu Rulan to the core. If not for Lu Rulan, they would not be in such a miserable state. They were forced to hide like stray dogs. Oh, you want to cut me into pieces? I'm right here. If you have the guts, come and find me. At that moment, a figure flew out from the depths of the palace and arrived before Fang Xian and the others. The person who had spoken was none other than Lu Rulan. Xia Ping walked out of the palace and stood next to Lu Rulan. Lu Rulan? You're really hiding in this place, you bitch. Fang Xian's eyes were filled with hatred. She almost could not suppress the anger in her heart. Her body was filled with killing intent, and she wanted to pounce on Lu Rulan and tear her apart. However, before she could attack, her brother, Fang Yang, pulled her hand and spoke through divine sense. Don't be rash. That mysterious person is standing next to Lu Rulan. They seem to know each other. His expression was very solemn. What? At that moment, Fang Xian finally noticed Xia Ping, who was standing next to her. Her head that was filled with hatred immediately calmed down because Xia Ping's deterrence was unparalleled. If this mysterious person was protecting Lu Rulan, it would be useless no matter how angry she was. Moreover, if that mysterious person was enraged, they would all die. Damn it, why is this bitch with this mysterious person? Did she use her body to make a deal? I knew that there's nothing good about that kind of woman. Fang Xian clenched her teeth. She was very indignant and tried her best to slander them. You're all still alive? I thought you were all dead. How disappointing. Good people don't live long, but scourges live for thousands of years, Lu Rulan said plainly and glanced sideways. What? Hearing this, Fang Xian and the others were immediately enraged and glared at Lu Rulan. This bitch actually dared to say such things. It was this person who caused the death of their people, but she did not feel guilty at all. Instead, she was gloating. If the mysterious person was not standing next to Lu Rulan, they would have torn this woman into pieces. What's wrong? I'm not convinced. You nobles of the Soul Clan treat the people like animals. To survive in front of the demons, you have to bow and scrape. Who knows how many people have been sent out to be eaten by you, but you sing and dance every day, eating fish and meat. You're so happy that you forget home. Lu Rulan laughed coldly. Of course, it's understandable if it's for the survival of the clan. However, You don't have such noble sentiments. It's purely for yourself. When I first came to the Azure Sea Realm, I was alone. If I didn't have some skills, I would have been humiliated by you Soul Clan vermin. It's best if scum like you all die so that you don't tarnish the Soul Clan's reputation. She and the Soul Clan of the Azure Sea Realm had a grudge against each other. Therefore, the cursed Devil Saint was dreaming if she thought she could use the lives of the Soul Clan to threaten her. On the contrary, she was still laughing. The more deaths, the better. You! Fong Xian and the others were infuriated. Alright. We're all from the Soul Clan. We're facing a great enemy, so why fight among ourselves? In this time of crisis, we should unite and face the outside world as one. At this moment, Fong Yang stood up and acted as a mediator. He was still afraid that the mysterious person would listen to Lu Rulan and fly into a rage. If that happened, they would be completely finished. Right now, he could only brace himself to stabilize the tense atmosphere at the scene. What do you want? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and looked at a maidservant in blue in the distance. She was hiding sneakily at the side. She took out a transparent pearl and threw it out. The other Soul Clan warriors were also shocked. They did not know why the maidservant, who was usually docile and harmless, would do such a thing. Boom! As soon as the transparent pearl was thrown out, 12 figures flew out from the depths of the pearl. Each figure emitted a terrifying demonic aura that shook the void. Fong Yang and the others felt their hearts tremble. It was as if these figures could communicate with the power of the void in the universe. Crack. Chapter 2041. Haha, thank you so much. Without your help, how could we have entered the Blood Mist Forbidden Land? Indeed, without the help of the Soul Race, I'm afraid we would have been annihilated in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. As expected of the Forbidden Land set up by the Blood Soul Saint. It is indeed extremely dangerous. It was the right idea to come up with this plan. We can enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land safely and complete the task Master gave us. 12 figures immediately appeared. They were the Monster Kings. They laughed heartily and were in a good mood. They felt that the plan they had come up with was very successful and smooth sailing. They were the Fire Bear King, the Aquatic Rhino King, the Wind Wing King, the Thunder Lion King, and so on. Each of the Demon Kings was far stronger than the monsters they had met before. Xia Ping could sense that these Demon Kings had all reached the title Demon King realm. They were half-step sages. Oh my god, Fire Bear King, Aquatic Rhino King, Wind Wing King, Thunder Lion King. Seeing this, Fong Yang's heart trembled. These are the 12 title Demon Kings under the killing cursed Demon Saint. Each Demon King is an extremely powerful existence and commands an army. They are extremely powerful. They are only one step away from becoming sages. They are also known as half-step sages. Now all of them have appeared. He could not believe his eyes. Back then, the killing cursed Demon Saint had annihilated most of the Soul Race's elites and only sent one title Demon King. Now, 12 title Demon Kings had appeared in this place. It was too exaggerated. Chunlan, what did you do? Why did you bring all these title Demon Kings with you? Fong Xian shouted angrily, calling out the name of the blue-robed maid. She was both shocked and angry. Originally, when they hid in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land, they were already safe and sound. They could rest and recuperate in peace, avoiding the pursuit of the demon race. But who would have thought that someone would betray the Soul Race and bring the 12 title Demon Kings with them? They even brought them into the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Facing these tyrannical title Demon Kings, how could they survive? What did I do? Chunlan, the maidservant in blue, sneered. You can't blame me for this. I'm doing all this just to survive. You want to fight against the Demon Saint of Killing Curse with your remnants? You're just daydreaming. The reason why you were able to run so far is not because you're strong or because you're lucky. It's purely because those demons showed mercy and wanted to expel you into the forbidden land of blood souls to test it out. Otherwise, you'd have been long dead. In order to survive, she betrayed the remaining soul race warriors. In any case, when this group of people was alive, they might not have been very good to him. Every man for himself would be destroyed by heaven and earth. Fang Xin and the others were filled with regret. If they had known that this blue-clothed maid was a traitor, they would have killed her back then. They would not have waited until now and caused such a disaster. Now that 12 titled monster kings had appeared, it was a force that could crush everything. Moreover, they were still in the forbidden land of blood souls. Even if they wanted to escape, it would be impossible. At this moment, they were all in despair. After fleeing for so long, it was all for naught. Not bad, you've done a good job. The Fire Bear King laughed. If you work for the demon race, you'll be able to live. If not for you, we wouldn't have been able to enter the forbidden land of blood souls. This is a great contribution. Thank you for the compliment, Lord. This is what I should do. The blue-clothed maid was overjoyed. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Fang Xin and the others were furious. They wanted to kill this maid immediately and tear her into pieces. However, with 12 titled monster kings here, they did not dare to move. After all, they were titled monster kings. They were terrifying existences that far surpassed ordinary monster kings. Any one of them could slaughter an entire world. Who could stop them? Even at the peak of the Qinghai realm, the soul race could not stop a titled monster king. Now that 12 titled monster kings had appeared, how could they fight? They could only wait for death. Lu Rulan, it's been really hard for us to find you. Even if you hide at the ends of the earth, we will still find you. Surrender now. No matter what you do, it's all in vain. The Wind Wing King looked at Lu Rulan mockingly. This time, their main mission was to capture the saintess of the soul race, Lu Rulan. As for the others, they were just minor details. As long as they could control this saintess of the soul race, it was equivalent to controlling the key inheritance of the Blood Soul Saint. This would be of great benefit to the Death Curse Saint. Lu Rulan sneered and did not speak. All of you, retreat. At this moment, Xia Ping stood out and advised with good intentions. If you leave now, you still have a chance to live. Otherwise, you so-called titled monster kings will meet your end. It's this damned human. It's him. He killed many of our elites from the Death Curse army. Damn it. If it wasn't for Master's plan, we would have jumped out and killed him. How could we let so many of our brothers die? Now, this brat still dares to jump out. He's courting death. Seeing Xia Ping appear in this place, many of the titled monster kings were furious. They recognized this human, and wanted nothing more than to crush his bones and scatter his ashes. Previously, when they saw Xia Ping slaughter the elites of the Death Curse army, they were so angry that their teeth itched. They wanted nothing more than to jump out and fight with this human. However, in order to enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land and deceive this group of soul race warriors, they endured it. Now, this brat actually dared to jump out again and appear in front of them. How could this be? They could not tolerate it at all. Kill! The Wind Wing King's speed was the fastest. His body emitted a terrifying murderous intent. He controlled the airflow of heaven and earth and flapped his wings. In an instant, he appeared in front of Xia Ping. Bloodline Mystique, Endless Wind Blade. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, tens of thousands of wind blades appeared in midair. Countless airflows condensed together, containing a terrifying cold light. It was as if a peerless swordsman had released a sword aura that was indestructible. The ground was also cut by the wind blades, tearing the ground into countless pieces. There were densely packed marks everywhere. These wind blades even quickly gathered together, forming the only wind blade between heaven and earth. It was as if a peerless swordsman's frightening blade had split the heaven and earth apart. Most importantly, the speed of this move was very fast. It was so fast that divine senses could not detect it. This was because the Wind Wing King was one of the fastest titled monster kings. The bloodline mystique that it used was even faster. Often, The enemy did not know what was going on and was already beheaded. Chapter 2042. Haha, stupid human. Let's see if he still dares to be so arrogant. Before, this guy killed some elites from the Cursekiller army and became so arrogant. But he doesn't know that the difference between a titled demon king and the other demon kings is like a chasm. They can't be compared at all. That's right. The Wind Wing King is the king of speed. He's so fast that I'm scared. Whoever he wants to kill, no one can live. Now that he's the first to attack, this human is dead for sure. This human's strength is not bad, but he can't compare to us titled demon kings. It's over. The battle will be over in the blink of an eye. He's just a small human. How can he fight against us demon kings? He's just relying on numbers and treasures. The titled demon king's expressions were very calm. They chatted casually and didn't care about Xiaoping at all. They thought that the Wind Wing King could end this kid's life. But at this time, Xiaoping attacked. He stepped forward and punched, shaking and exploding. This was a simple straight punch without any fancy moves. But it was horrifying. Suddenly, the sky shook and the ground shook. It was as if a god elephant had appeared behind him. It stood tall and gave off the terrifying aura of a chaotic god demon. Dong! When the surrounding wind blades felt the fist energy, they were instantly shattered into pieces like glass. The huge wind blade was instantly shattered into pieces. Crackling sounds could be heard from the surroundings, as if space itself was shattering. Not good. The Wind Wing King's hair stood on end and his expression changed. He could feel the terror of this punch. It contained endless fist power and the laws of heaven and earth. It was fierce and unparalleled. It was as if a peerless emperor had descended. He gave off an unstoppable aura. If the emperor wanted his subjects to die, the subjects had to die. He tried to flap his wings and escape quickly, but it was too late. The power of the fist power was actually faster than his speed. He couldn't react at all. Boom. In the next second, his body was hit by the fist. His huge body was easily penetrated by the fist. Large amounts of blood sprayed out like a fountain. Although he was fast, his body was as weak as paper. Facing such a fist power, he couldn't block it at all. No. Save me, brother, save me! The Wind Wing King let out a mournful scream, like a pig being slaughtered. He desperately begged for help, hoping that the other 11 titled demon kings would act quickly and save him. However, the speed of the fist force was too fast. It was so fast that even the titled beast kings could react. The other titled beast kings were all dumbfounded. They were still watching the show, not knowing what was going on. No matter how shrill the Wind Wing King's cries were, it was of no use. Its body was destroyed by the terrifying fist energy. In merely a short moment, its body exploded like a balloon and transformed into a ball of mush. Moreover, even its soul core was shattered into pieces, and it perished on the spot. Seeing this scene, Fang Xian and the others were shocked. That was a titled demon king, a peerless and invincible powerhouse, the strongest powerhouse below the sages, but now it was destroyed by a single punch from this human? Isn't this a little too exaggerated? Now, who was the real titled monster king? Alright, let's kill one first. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, casting a sidelong glance at them. You still have 11 titled demon kings. Which one of you dares to come up and throw your lives away? I can fulfill your wishes one by one and send you all to hell together with the Wind Wing King. He spoke provocatively, wanting to challenge these titled demon kings one by one and have a fair fight. Who's going first? Go *CK yourself. Do you think we'll fight you one-on-one? Go to hell, human. You actually dared to kill the Wind Wing King. We will definitely not rest until you die. You're dead meat, human. Even if it's the heavens or the earth, no one can save you. All the titled demon kings were furious. They glared at Xiaoping with murderous intent. This brat had a good idea. He still wanted to fight them one-on-one. This was simply a fool's dream. They wanted to gang up on this human and completely destroy him. Boom! In an instant, these titled demon kings immediately move. They used all kinds of techniques and attacked in all directions. Some of them had flames that were tens of thousands of feet long. They used a sea of fire that surged forward violently, causing waves of air to surge. Some of them controlled a black flood that was tens of thousands of feet long. Some of them used lightning, which fell down like raindrops. They covered the sky and covered the earth. There was nowhere to hide. These titled demon kings all activated the power of heaven and earth to seal the void. They surrounded Xia Ping from all directions, not allowing this human to escape. They're angry. 11 titled demon kings are completely enraged. This mysterious man is really scary. He killed a titled demon king in an instant. What kind of strength does he have? Who cares how strong he is? Let's just hurry up and run. This mysterious man will help us block these titled demon kings. Run? This is the blood mist forbidden ground. Where can we run to? Fang Yang and the rest were discussing. Seeing such a battle, they were dumbfounded. They wanted to run, but this was the blood mist forbidden ground. There was nowhere to run. Moreover, a battle of this level was incomparably terrifying. Even if they wanted to interfere, they wouldn't be able to. If they dared to get close, they would die. They were nothing but cannon fodder. You don't even dare to fight one-on-one. What kind of titled demon king are you? You actually dare to gang up on me? Don't blame me then. Come out, Star Destroyer sword. In an instant, Xia Ping grabbed out with his hand and took out a low-grade sacred weapon, Star Destroyer sword. So, with a wave of his hand, he infused his magic power into the sword. The entire Star Destroyer sword trembled and exploded with countless starlight. Just like that, he slashed down at the group of titled demon kings. As the sword slashed down, the heavens and the earth shook. Immediately, countless blue sword lights exploded. Star runes quickly formed within the sword. Every star rune swallowed the power of the stars in the depths of the void. Then, they turned into huge stars. Tens of thousands of stars fell from the sky. The entire world was filled with the sound of the apocalypse. The group of titled demon kings was completely enveloped by the stars, sealing the sky and locking the earth. He actually has a low-grade sacred weapon? Many titled demon kings were shocked. They didn't expect this human to have a sacred weapon. One had to know that a human with a sacred weapon and a human without one were two completely different things. A sacred weapon could increase the combat power of a Thunder Tribulation realm expert by several times. Even a titled demon king couldn't compare. Dong, dong, dong. With just one strike, the attacks of these titled demon kings were all destroyed. One after another, the magic arrays were turned into dust. The huge stars smashed onto their bodies. Ah! Immediately, these titled monster kings let out shrill screams. The skin on their bodies burst open, and fresh blood gushed out as if it was free. Their internal organs were all severely injured. Even the terrifying energy of the stars emitted a cold air that invaded their bodies. It wanted to completely freeze the primordial spirits of these titled demon kings. Not good. Hurry and ask the master to come over. Chapter 2043. Boom. The Fire Bear King immediately took out a black talisman from his body. There was a skull symbol on it, and it emitted a deep, terrifying, and strange aura that made people shudder. The Fire Bear King activated his magic power and immediately burned the black talisman. It turned into a wisp of black smoke and quickly merged into the depths of the void. It was transmitted to the killing curse demon saint in another corner of the Qinghai realm. In an instant, the killing curse demon saint seemed to have received this message. It opened its eyes, and a wisp of divine consciousness instantly descended into the depths of the blood mist forbidden land. A terrifying pressure filled the surroundings. Oh no, they actually contacted the killing curse demon saint. We are completely finished. Seeing this, Fang Yang and the others felt bitter and hopeless. Just the 12 titled demon kings were enough to kill them countless times. Now, even the killing cursed demon saint had appeared. This was simply not giving them a way out. Although the killing cursed demon saint's real body had not come to this place, they could feel the terrifying divine consciousness that was everywhere in the depths of the void. This was the difference in the nature of life. They were not even of the same species. They simply wanted to crawl down. They could not face such a terrifying existence at all. You actually used a curse talisman? To inform me, have you completed the mission? A deep voice came from the depths of the void. Master, the plan was very successful. We entered the depths of the blood-mist forbidden land and even found the saintess of the soul race, Lu Rulon. However, we have encountered a small problem. Sensing the killing curse demon saint's divine consciousness, the Fire Bear King and the other titled demon kings immediately became respectful, not daring to overstep. Small problem? I see. There is also a human in the Thunder Tribulation realm with a low-grade divine weapon. Is he the one who blocked you and prevented you from completing the mission? The cursed demon saint's divine sense circulated in the void, sweeping in all directions. In an instant, he knew what had happened, as clear as a blazing fire. Yes, it's this human. He is very powerful and has a divine weapon. We are no match for him. The Fire Bear King and the other titled demon kings were very unwilling. They felt that this was an extremely embarrassing matter, but they still told the truth about their predicament. Human. The demon saint of the killing curse's voice rang out, targeting Xia Ping. I'll only give you one chance, just one. Immediately kneel and surrender, crawl on the ground like a dog, and you'll live. If you continue to resist stubbornly and try to provoke us, then you will suffer a fate worse than death today. Even your family and friends will be captured and executed. Its tone was very indifferent, without any killing intent. It was merely stating a fact. Many titled demon kings looked at the human in front of them mockingly. They were calm and composed. Even if this human had a divine artifact, in front of an immortal demon saint, he was just an ant, not worth mentioning. With the support of an immortal beast sage, they had nothing to fear. Boom! As soon as the sound of his voice faded, Xia Ping made his move. The Star Destroyer sword in his hand slashed out, instantly unleashing a terrifying sword chi that resembled the trajectories of starlight, beautiful and resplendent, yet containing a terrifying killing intent. At this moment, it was as if the entire sky had turned into a dark starry sky. The stars shone resplendently and swayed. What? The Fire Bear King and the other titled demon king's hair stood on end, their bodies trembling. They could feel the terror of this sword. The omnipresent killing intent caused the surrounding void to tremble, unceasingly slicing the space and enveloping the surroundings. This sword had already locked on to their aura and primordial spirit. No matter how fast they were, no matter where they fled to, they could not avoid the attack of this sword. Ant, how dare you? Seeing this scene, the killing curse demon saint of the killing curse was enraged. It was simply furious. It was unknown how many years had passed. Ever since it advanced to an immortal beast sage, it had an endless lifespan. It had always been high and mighty. Facing these mortals, it had always treated them like a god, not putting these mortals in its eyes at all. As long as it gave an order, billions of living beings would have to bow down, and rivers of blood would flow. But now, not only did this lowly and insignificant human not listen to its orders, he even dared to attack its loyal subordinates right in front of its face. He wanted to kill people in front of it. This was simply slapping its face, slapping it, spitting on it. This was completely trampling its dignity as a demon saint into the ground, and it was even trampling on it. Boom! A terrifying aura was brewing in the depths of the void. The heaven and earth shook, the space trembled, as if the heaven and earth were angry. The entire Azure Sea realm was tumbling and thousands of volcanoes were erupting. This was the anger of an immortal beast sage. However, it was already too late. It was still a certain distance away from the blood-mist forbidden land. Even though it was an immortal beast sage, it needed a certain amount of time to cross such a long distance. However, during this period of time, rays of star-like sword chi swept down from the sky, blasting at these titled demon kings. The terrifying sword chi instantly erupted. Dong dong dong! In the next second, the Fire Bear King and the other titled demon kings did not know what had happened. Their eyes widened, and with a poochie sound, their heads were sent flying, splashing a pile of blood. At the same time, the primordial spirits within their bodies were instantly sliced into pieces. 11 titled demon kings were killed by Xia Ping with one sword. Not a single one was left alive. The ground was littered with the corpses of the titled demon kings. They were simply dismembered. This. Fang Yang and the others were dumbfounded. They did not expect this mysterious person to be so daring. He killed 12 titled demon kings right in front of the Killing Curse demon sage. Wasn't this an insult to the Killing Curse demon sage and a slap to its face? They could not imagine what kind of mortal would be so insolent as to slap a demon sage's face. He must be tired of living. Human, how dare you? Seeing this scene, the Killing Curse demon sage flew into a rage. An unprecedented anger surged from the depths of its heart. If its anger could condense into a substance and turn into the power of a sacred art, the entire Azure Sea realm would probably be burned to ashes by its anger. A mere mortal actually dared to kill 12 of its elite subordinates right in front of it. This was simply slapping its face to death. It could not imagine such a thing happening. This mortal was simply tired of living. You're dead. Even if you go up into the sky or down into the sea, no one can save you. I'm going to extract your soul and expose it to the endless abyss for 30,000 years. I'm going to make you wish you were dead. I'm going to exterminate your entire family. The Killing Curse demon sage roared angrily. Like thunder, the entire sky of the Azure Sea realm seemed to be torn apart. Dong. Chapter 2044. An old man in a black robe appeared in front of everyone. He looked like a human old man. His skin was dry and seemed to be devoid of water. He looked like a mummy. A skull-like black inscription appeared between his brows. It seemed to contain a dark world deep within the inscription, absorbing countless souls and vengeful spirits in this universe. His entire body was emitting a dark curse aura. The old man stood in midair and looked down emotionlessly. He was like the incarnation of the Grim Reaper, a peerless demon that walked out from the depths of the darkness. He represented curse, darkness, and death. Killing Curse demon sage. Fang Yang and the others were speechless. The moment the old man appeared, the surrounding void was filled with an inexplicable aura. It was oppressive, despairing, and dark. Even when the soul race was destroyed, the Killing Curse demon sage's main body did not appear. It only sent a strand of its consciousness over. But now, not only had its consciousness come, its real body had come as well. One could imagine how angry the Killing Curse demon sage was. Ants! The Killing Curse demon sage looked down at Fang Yang and the others. It was just a glance. Dong. In an instant, Fang Yang, Fang Xin, and the other soul race warriors, as well as the blue-clothed maid, exploded and turned into meat paste. They couldn't even struggle. Just a single glance was enough to shatter their souls from the inside out. They were pitiful. They had fled for God knows how long and painstakingly arrived at the blood-mist forbidden land. They thought that they could survive, but they still died. They were killed by the Killing Curse demon sage with just a glance. Clearly, Fang Yang and the others were still useful before. But now that they had entered the depths of the blood-mist forbidden land, they were useless. To vent its anger, the Killing Curse demon sage killed them with a glare. Even if the blue-clothed maid was its subordinate. To the Killing Curse demon sage, it did not matter how many mortals died. Human, you have angered me. How do you want to die? The Killing Curse demon sage stared at Xia Ping arrogantly. The way it looked at him was like it was looking at ants that it had killed with a glare. It did not care about Xiaoping at all. That was to be expected. After all, it was an immortal demon sage with an endless lifespan. How could mere mortals compare? It didn't know how many criminals like this it had killed. "You're the cursed demon saint?" Xiaoping blinked his eyes and remained unmoved. "Why do you look so weak? You don't seem as powerful as I imagined." He had seen sages before, such as his own master, the North Sea Sage. His aura was boundless and unfathomable, just like the universe itself. Even though Dumbo Gaia had just advanced to the immortal rank, her magic power was vast and boundless. There was no end to it at all. It was like an abyss that was unbelievably dense. However, although the demon saint of the killing curse in front of him was also very powerful, far surpassing the titled Demon King, in his perception, it was not invincible. It was not to the extent that he could not defeat it with just a glance. Weak. Hearing this, the cursed killing holy beast was enraged. It laughed in anger. "You're just an ant, yet you dare to say such big words. It seems that you don't know how terrifying a saint is. Today I'll show you. Killing you is as easy as killing a chicken." Boom! As soon as it finished speaking, it immediately attacked with a palm that could topple mountains and overturn seas. It was as if this palm encompassed the entire world, and the chi of heaven and earth within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers was grasped in its hand. Then, a huge amount of chi rapidly condensed, turning into a huge millstone. Countless sage rank talismans? They were engraved deep within the millstone, emitting an immortal and sacred aura. This millstone was extremely fast. Under the cursed killing holy beast's control, it bombarded down from midair, as if it was going to flatten the entire world and completely destroy it. Divine elephant supporting the heavens. Xiaoping's thoughts moved, and a universal Dharma idol immediately flew out from his body. It was a divine elephant, as if it was a demon god that walked out from the ancient times. It emitted a terrifying aura. Its body was covered in densely packed divine elephant runes. Its body was huge, and its aura was terrifying. It fearlessly charged towards the huge millstone just like that. Dong! Immediately, a huge sound was heard in midair. The indestructible huge Yuan Qi millstone was immediately stopped by the divine elephant's power. No matter how huge the millstone was, it could not shatter the divine elephant's body. The ground was also shaken, and a deep crater of several hundred kilometers appeared, emitting cracking sounds. So powerful! Lu Rulan's beautiful eyes widened. She felt the powerful air currents nearby, each of which could turn into a storm. She quickly retreated, avoiding the center of the battle between the two to avoid being implicated. She looked at Xiaoping in disbelief, even though she knew that Xiaoping's strength far surpassed titled Demon Kings. Otherwise, he would not have been able to kill titled Demon Kings as if they were chickens. However, being able to stop an attack from an immortal saint still shocked her. If this matter was spread out, the entire universe would definitely be shaken. Using Thunder Calamity to fight an immortal saint was simply shocking. As expected, this power is only SOSO. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He sensed the immortal saint's power slightly, and it was only on par with him. It did not surpass him by too much. In fact, he did not even know how powerful he was. First, his soul power. After absorbing the soul energy of countless living beings, his primordial spirit power was extremely powerful, far surpassing titled Demon Kings. It was probably comparable to an immortal saint. Next was magic power. He cultivated the Panwu True Scripture and opened up 9 purple palace spaces. The area of each purple palace space was 100 times larger than ordinary cultivators. This way, the magic power in his body was naturally hundreds or even thousands of times more than ordinary cultivators. His magic power was unimaginably dense. Moreover, His body contained the infernal Golden Crow bloodline, which had already awakened 550 million bloodlines. His physique had been strengthened to an unimaginable level, and he already had the embryonic form of a mythical creature. With these advantages stacking up, he could sweep away all Thunder Calamity Realm expert. In terms of strength and magic power, he was not inferior to ordinary immortal saints. Bastard damned ant! However, the killing curse demon saint did not know this. It only felt humiliated, extremely humiliated, and its face turned red. As an immortal saint, it was extremely powerful, far surpassing mortals. Yet, a casual attack from it could not kill this mortal. This was a great humiliation. If his gang of scoundrels found out about this and knew that he couldn't even kill a mortal with a single strike, they would definitely mock him for being so weak. Such a humiliating matter would cause it to be shamed for hundreds of millions of years. Chapter 2045. Mortal, go to hell! Cursed Demon Palm. The cursed demon saint roared angrily and attacked again. This time it was enraged. It was no longer a casual test. Instead, it unleashed a thunderous attack, and palm prints appeared in midair. In an instant, hundreds and thousands of giant palm prints appeared in midair. Each palm print was engraved with dense inscriptions, like the giant palm of heaven. The power contained in each palm was enough to shatter a planet and create mountains and rivers. Under Xia Ping's perception, there seemed to be tadpole-like runes wriggling in the depths of each palm, emitting dense demonic qi that was filled with a destructive aura. Any rune that landed had the power to shatter mountains and rivers. Countless tadpole-like runes overlapped, increasing the destructive power to an extreme level. It was as if it controlled the power of the universe's origin, turning into a dominator that could destroy everything. Too strong. Is this the power of an immortal demon saint? Lu Rulan saw this scene from afar and felt shocked. She had never seen an immortal demon saint in action and had no idea how strong an immortal demon saint was. Even when the cursed demon saint chased after her last time, she could only escape quickly and did not have the chance to face it directly. But now she saw an immortal-level demon saint in action. It was indeed extraordinary. With one palm, the entire Azure Sea realm would probably tremble. This was a sage that dominated the universe, an existence like a nuclear weapon. Thousand-armed Buddha! Xia Ping was not afraid. Another Dharma form appeared on his body, the thousand-armed Buddha. It immediately emitted a dazzling golden light that seemed to pierce through the surrounding darkness and welcome light. It stretched out 3,000 dark golden palms, on which dense Buddhist runes appeared. It was as if it was a supreme Buddhist scripture, containing the terrifying power of Buddha. Vaguely, the Sanskrit voice of countless Buddhas could be heard from the depths of the void. All kinds of strange phenomena appeared and lotus flowers bloomed. It sat in the void and blasted out 3,000 palms at the same time. It seemed to represent 3,000 worlds. Each dark golden palm had the power to tear through the void. It was extremely terrifying. Palm against palm, brute force against brute force, magical power against magical power. Dong, dong, dong. The two forces collided with each other like countless planets colliding. Immediately, there was a world-shaking sound. Explosions rang out, and countless balls of yuan qi were shattered. The surrounding ground seemed to have been turned upside down. The surrounding restrictive arrays were completely destroyed. It was as if two immortal-level sages were fighting to the death. Damned ant, you actually dare to block me? Why don't you just die? Why don't you just die? Why? The killing curse demon saint flew into a rage and became even angrier. Previously, it could forget about the fact that its casual attack was blocked by this lowly mortal. But now, its all-out attack was blocked by this mortal with ease. How could there be such a ridiculous thing in the world? Was he still a mortal? Killing curse heaven fist. The demon saint of the killing curse was enraged. It once again used another peerless divine ability. The countless palm prints in the air seemed to converge, clenching into huge fists. At this moment, all the magical power seemed to be converged and compressed into a ball. A destructive power spread out from the depths of the fist. Each black fist seemed to be wrapped by runes that were like poisonous snakes. Countless black runes formed orderly chains that wrapped around the fist. It seemed as if all the darkness, evil, curses, and other auras in the world were concentrated in the depths of the fists and compressed crazily. Once the fists were launched, the evil power in the depths of the fists would instantly explode. It could instantly kill the enemy and corrode their souls, pulling them into the abyss world and contaminating them into evil creatures. Rumble in an instant, hundreds and thousands of black fists bombarded down from the sky. They were like demons walking out of chaos, piercing through space and cleansing the land. The surrounding space was filled with an evil aura. It was as if the surrounding hundreds of millions of kilometers had turned into a dark demonic domain. Countless demons, ghosts, and vengeful spirits seemed to fly out from the dimensional spaces that had been torn apart in the surroundings. Thousand-eyed demon. Xiaoping was unmoved. Another heaven and earth Dharma idol appeared on his body. It was a demon that had walked out from the depths of hell. It had 3,000 eyes on its body. Every eye that opened seemed to represent a kind of sin. Its body was filled with the aura of sin, hell, chaos, massacre, and other things. It was as if it was an amalgamation of all the sins in the world. It was a completely different kind of power from the thousand-armed Buddha. It was purely born for destruction and massacre. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, the demon opened its eyes. All 3,000 eyes shot out beams of dim light. Each beam of dim light seemed to be able to penetrate the 9 serenities of hell and contained terrifying destructive power. 3,000 beams of dim light blasted out at the same time. They covered the sky and earth and collided with the black fist. Rumble, the two forces collided again. The power of hell and the power of the dark curse collided and destroyed each other. It was as if poisonous snakes were tearing each other apart. Sin and darkness were entangled, and neither could do anything to the other. After another breath, the two forces disappeared again and destroyed each other. Damn it! You can actually resist my killing curse, Heavenly Fist. Mortal, where did you come from? The killing curse demon sage widened its eyes in disbelief. If it was before, it might have thought that this kid was just lucky. However, now that he could even resist the killing curse Heavenly Fist, it was not as simple as luck. This was definitely strength, because even a powerful existence like the immortal demon sage would need to expend a lot of energy to resist this punch. If they were not careful, they would be corroded by the killing curse Heavenly Fist's curse aura and their soul would be polluted. Between sages, the soul was the most important thing. There must be no accident. Therefore, the killing curse demon sage could run amok among the immortal demon sages and make countless sages afraid. However, this little mortal could actually resist the power of its killing curse Heavenly Fist. Moreover, he was just a Thunder Tribulation Realm ant. This was simply unheard of. I will not change my name or my surname. I am unrivaled Wu of the human race. Xiaoping shouted and rushed forward, brazenly attacking the demon saint of killing curse. Another heaven and earth avatar appeared on his body. It was a primordial heavenly dragon. It roared in the depths of the void and let out an earth-shattering dragon roar. The terrifying power of the heavenly dragon resided in his fist. In an instant, he seemed to have transformed into a primordial heavenly dragon. He circulated the power of the primordial heavenly dragon and punched out, tearing the sky. Bastard Ant. Chapter 2046. Heavenly Incantation. The killing curse demon sage formed a seal with both hands, and countless demon sage runes appeared on its body. Huge energy quickly condensed, and a huge energy shield immediately appeared in front of its body. Black tadpole-like runes appeared in the depths of this energy shield. They contained powerful defensive power and seemed to be able to isolate all magical powers. Whoosh! However, at that moment, Xia Ping's figure flashed, and in a zigzagging trajectory, he instantly teleported behind the Killing Curse Demon Sage. What? The Killing Curse Demon Sage was shocked. It did not expect this human to be proficient in spatial power. Before it could react, Xia Ping's fist blasted over like the roar of a heavenly dragon. It was the attack of an ancient heavenly dragon. Dong! The fist smashed into the Killing Curse Demon Sage's back, and a terrifying force erupted in an instant, sending the Killing Curse Demon Sage flying and smashing through several buildings. Its body was instantly shattered into 2 pieces. If it was an ordinary cultivator, they would have died after this attack. However, it was an immortal sage, and these injuries were not fatal. Rumble in an instant, the 2 pieces of flesh wriggled and gathered together, returning to the Killing Curse Demon Sage's original body. Its aura did not weaken at all. It stared at Xia Ping with a gloomy expression. No one could imagine the anger in the Killing Curse Demon Sage's heart at that moment. As a dignified immortal-level demon saint, facing a lowly human, he was actually hit by a punch and even split his body into 2. This was simply a great humiliation. This was something unheard of. I see. Is this the immortal body? It's indeed terrifying. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Just now, he almost thought that he had succeeded and could kill a saint. However, he soon realized that he was thinking too much. The other party was a terrifying existence with an undying body. How could it be killed so easily? For a sage of this level, even if he pierced through the other party's hands, feet, head, heart, and other places, he would not die. Even if only 1 cell was left, it could be reborn. I admit that I underestimated you just now. The Killing Curse Demon Sage's expression was gloomy. But from now on, I will let you clearly understand what terror is, what darkness is, and what death is. At this moment it was truly enraged. A terrifying killing intent gushed out from the depths of its heart. It could be said that it had never wanted to kill a mortal as much as it did at this moment. Because this mortal really had the power to threaten it, it raised the threat of this human in front of it to an unprecedented level, treating him as its mortal enemy. The cycle of the heavens, karma, the void of the 9 hells, the curse code. With a loud boom, it made a grabbing motion and immediately took out a mid-grade holy artifact. The Curse Codex. It was a completely black book with dense black talisman markings inscribed on it. They were wriggling like tadpoles, and they emitted the aura of darkness, evil, curses, netherworld, and so on and so forth. It was as if this book had collected countless ghosts and vengeful spirits. It contained a terrifying aura of resentment and hatred, as if it was the most evil thing in the world, causing one's heart to tremble. This was a mid-grade saint artifact that the demon sage of the Killing Curse had spent hundreds of millions of years collecting countless rare materials from across the universe. Then, he had fused all of his abilities, as well as smelting the power of the netherworld, the power of resentment, the power of the abyss, and other dark energies to refine this mid-grade saint artifact. Its power was extremely terrifying. It could be said that this was a book of curses. Once this book was used, it would be able to kill people from a distance and place the curse on the enemy. It would be able to kill people from hundreds of millions of kilometers away without leaving a trace and destroy their souls. Moreover, the power of this curse was formless and invisible. It could penetrate the soul and was impossible to guard against. It was one of the most evil and terrifying powers in the universe. Although it was only a mid-grade holy artifact, in terms of attack power, it was at least equivalent to the power of a high-grade holy artifact. With this magic treasure, the demon sage of the Killing Curse was simply invincible. Master, be careful. When the green ox saw the divine ability that the demon sage of the Killing Curse cast, his expression changed drastically. It's actually the curse code. This is one of the most terrifying and strange divine abilities of the many demonic divine abilities. It can kill people from a distance. The straw curse is extremely strange and mysterious. It is almost impossible to restrain or guard against. It is a peerless secret technique used to scheme against people. It is extremely difficult to successfully cultivate. I didn't expect the demon sage of the killing curse to have condensed the curse divine ability and even refined it into a curse code. If one is hit by this curse secret technique, their soul will probably weaken and they will die. Even if they are lucky enough to survive, they will trigger their inner demons. Then, they will deteriorate and have bad luck. Even immortal-level demon sages are extremely afraid of the cursed divine ability. It is called a forbidden divine ability. It meant that even among the human race, the cursed divine ability was also a strange divine ability that caused fear. Even among demonic organizations, there were not many who had mastered the cursed divine ability. Not to mention, the power of the cursed divine ability was simply unimaginable when it was raised to the immortal level. It could sense the aura of death from this mid-grade holy artifact. It was extremely dangerous. Boom. As soon as it finished speaking, the demon sage of the killing curse made its move. It infused its magic power into it and bit its tongue at the same time, spitting a mouthful of blood on the curse code. In order to activate this mid-grade holy artifact and trigger the power of the curse, it would need to consume a large amount of its own blood essence. It was just like the 7 injuries fist. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, the demon sage of the killing curse didn't want to use this move. It would greatly damage its own vitality and damage its foundation. But now it had to use it. It must kill this damn human. Immediately obtaining the huge blood essence energy of the killing curse demon sage, this book opened, blooming with endless light, and wisps of curse power permeated the void. What? Xiaoping's eyes showed a trace of cold light. He felt that this curse power was invisible. Even the Dark North body protection art couldn't resist it. It directly penetrated the heart and entered the depths of the soul. The 9 purple mansion spaces in his body were immediately surrounded by wisps of dark and evil aura. It seemed that the entire sea of consciousness had dimmed and was eroded by the curse power. Vaguely, the 9 heaven and earth laws on his body were also wrapped by wisps of curse power. Like chains of order, the 9 heaven and earth laws were tied up. Suddenly, Xiaoping felt that his mood was extremely irritable. It seemed that the inner demons deep in his body had been lured out, and there were signs of qi deviation. Even these curse power penetrated his internal organs, penetrated his limbs and bones, and quickly drilled into every cell in his body like poisonous insect. Chapter 2047. Haha, foolish mortal. Even if you're an immortal sage, you'll suffer great damage to your vitality after being hit by my curse power. Your soul will weaken, and you'll die of decay. No matter how powerful you are, you can't stop the curse power. However, I won't be careless anymore. This time, I'll use all my strength to completely destroy your primordial spirit. I'll make you sink forever and never be able to reincarnate. The killing curse demon saint sneered. It formed a seal with both hands and chanted a powerful curse incantation. I curse you to perish and never be able to reincarnate. I curse you to sink into hell and never be able to reincarnate. I curse you to perish and die of old age. I curse you to have bad luck and to be alone. Incantations were chanted one after another. Vaguely, the void trembled, as if the primordial curse god was chanting, triggering the curse power in the depths of the void. In the blink of an eye, these incantations turned into strands of gray curse power, drilling into the depths of Xiaoping's sea of consciousness and seeping into his soul. Dong! Xiaoping's body shook. His primordial spirit seemed to be engraved with a curse imprint by the killing curse demon saint. The curse power in the depths of his body erupted violently. At this moment, the powerful curse power wreaked havoc in his body. Massive gray gas seeped into every cell in his body, devouring the energy in his body like a devil. Rumble at this critical moment, the infernal golden crow bloodline in Xia Ping's body trembled. Stimulated by the curse power, strands of infernal golden crow flames rose from the depths of his blood. In an instant, his entire body was wrapped by the infernal golden crow flames, as if he had turned into a burning man. Every drop of his blood turned into scorching flames. In fact, the dark golden flames transformed into numerous divine birds that devoured the curse power that had entered Xia Ping's body. They devoured the curse power, then refined it. One had to know that the infernal golden crow flames were terrifying flames born from the depths of hell. They represented the true essence of hell, a terrifying energy that could devour all evil and sin in the world. Even though the power of the curse was extremely strong and strange, formless and traceless. Normal people would be helpless against this kind of power, but for the Hell Golden Crow Fire, this was just a normal wave of dark energy. Therefore, it was simply a pipe dream for the demon saint of curses to try and kill Xia Ping with the power of curses. Sizzle immediately. The power of the curse that was entangled in the depths of Xia Ping's soul was burned to ashes by the flames of the golden crow of hell, turning into wisps of black smoke. The black smoke also came out of the 108,000 pores on his body, and the ground was also filled with the black curse power. It actually corroded the ground into shocking holes, and countless restrictive spell formations were destroyed. What is this? Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat. After the infernal golden crow flames had refined most of the curse power in his body, there were still drops of black liquid left behind. This seemed to be the essence of the curse power. Countless liquids condensed, forming a fist-sized water ball. This was all the curse power gathered by Demon Saint of the Curse, and it emitted a sinister, strange, and terrifying aura. Halala, right at this moment, a divine ability talisman in the depths of his body seemed to have sensed this pure curse power. It suddenly flew out and immediately swallowed this ball of curse power. Head-piercing 7 arrows technique. Xia Ping immediately sensed that this divine ability talisman was from a peerless cultivation method that he had previously cultivated, head-piercing 7 arrows technique. This was a peerless secret technique with infinite power. It seemed that it itself was a cursed secret technique that could kill people invisibly, and it could kill enemies from thousands of miles away. Originally, he had almost forgotten this peerless cultivation method, but this divine ability talisman now sensed that there was a huge amount of curse power, and it actually flew out of its own accord and swallowed a large amount of curse power. Rumble. Xia Ping sensed that after this divine ability talisman swallowed a large amount of curse power, it was actually transforming at a speed visible to the naked eye. After absorbing a large amount of curse power, countless inscriptions quickly condensed in the depths of the talisman. It seemed that this peerless divine ability had also undergone earth-shaking changes. He felt that this talisman had transformed into a black state, and the depths of the talisman had turned into a dark vortex. A faint power came from the depths of the talisman, and it seemed to be able to communicate with the power of the ghosts and gods in the world. There was no doubt that this was a curse talisman, and it contained the curse power of the ghosts and gods in the world. It was extremely tyrannical. Dong. Xia Ping grabbed with his big hand, and a huge amount of curse power seeped out of the depths of the talisman, and suddenly condensed into a black dagger, which was entwined with curse runes, exuding a gloomy and evil aura, which made people tremble. He felt that after absorbing this pure curse power, his head-piercing 7 arrows technique seemed to have been elevated to an incredible realm, and its power was infinite. How is this possible? Damn Ant, what have you done? Where is the curse power entwined in your body? What method did you use to remove my curse? The demon saint of killing curse couldn't believe its eyes. With this curse magic, it was simply unstoppable. For many years, it had never encountered a worthy opponent. But now, it was actually ineffective against this little mortal. The huge curse power entwined in the other party's body had disappeared completely. No, not only did it disappear, but it seemed to have been swallowed by the other party, and taken as its own. This was simply ridiculous, too ridiculous. What kind of person had the ability to take the curse power as his own, and even devour it? It had never seen such a human. If the curse power had no effect on this human, then it would have wasted a lot of its blood essence and lost its lifespan. Wouldn't that be useless? The demon saint of killing curse could not accept this fact at all. Xia Ping did not answer. His face was expressionless, and his eyes were indifferent. He clenched the black dagger tightly, and with a thought, he shot the black dagger toward the demon saint of killing curse. Swoosh! The dagger flew over in the blink of an eye, soundless and stealthy, hidden in the void. Bastard, you still want to fight back? You're dreaming. Impossible, why can't I block it? Why can't I block it? The demon saint of killing curse roared, and wanted to block the dagger. However, it soon discovered that the black dagger contained a strong curse power. It was invisible and instantly penetrated its defense, directly shooting into the depths of its sea of consciousness. Dong! The dagger pierced into its primordial spirit, and the terrifying curse power instantly spread to its soul, turning into terrible resentful spirits that were tearing at its soul. Ah! Chapter 2048. Impossible! The demon saint of the killing curse had gone crazy. How could it not know that it had been cursed by this abominable human, causing its inner demons to multiply and causing it to fall into the hell of the inner demons? The magic power in its body was in disorder, and there were signs of chi deviation. It was mad with anger. This was because it thought that it was an expert in the curse divine ability. As an immortal demon sage, it was proficient in such a strange secret technique. It could be regarded as a terrifying existence like its ancestor. It had always been the one cursing others, but no one could curse it. But now, this damned human actually wanted to give it a taste of its own medicine. He even wanted to use the curse technique to kill him. This was simply too arrogant. It had never seen such an abominable human in its life. Endless anger surged in its heart. It could be said that at this moment, it wanted to kill this lowly human more than anyone else. At the same time, a trace of fear surged in its heart, because this black dagger was extremely terrifying. Countless curse runes gathered together, seemingly forming a sin, containing a terrifying sharp power. If the human in front of it was not a Thunder Tribulation realm expert but an immortal sage, this attack would have been enough to destroy its soul completely. In other words, if this human continued to grow, he would definitely become a great enemy of the demon race. This ability was not something a Thunder Tribulation realm mortal could have. This kid must be a peerless monster of the human race. Dong! Thinking of this, the killing curse demon sage formed a seal with both hands. It actually chose to self-destruct. Its entire body instantly shattered, and all the power in its body exploded. In the next second, all its flesh and blood condensed again, returning to its original body. What? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He did not expect the killing curse demon sage to have such a method. In order to get rid of the head-piercing 7 arrows technique's curse power, it chose to self-destruct, shattering its body and curse together, then reassembling and obtaining a new life. It had to be said that this was a move that only an immortal sage could use. However, this also caused the killing curse demon sage's vitality to be greatly damaged, and a lot of its origin energy was consumed. Despicable human, I must kill you, kill you. The killing curse demon sage went crazy and chose to give up on cursing this human. This was because it knew that this human had a special ability that allowed him to devour the power of curses. However, even if it did not use its curses, it would still be able to crush this little mortal with its own powers. Xia Ping naturally didn't feel any fear. He went up to fight and fought, displaying Dharma idols one after another. Dong dong dong! Suddenly, the 2 balls of energy collided violently in midair. Within a second, they collided thousands of times. It was like 2 planets colliding with each other, causing a huge explosion. The ground was also shaken by the shock waves of this energy, creating huge craters. Gravel flew in all directions, and there were potholes everywhere, just like the surface of the moon. The surrounding ancient palaces and buildings were pulverized by this force. Even though this was the palace that Saint Blood Soul had constructed back then, the countless years that had passed had caused the restrictive arrays that were set up here to lose their effectiveness. It was no longer as powerful as it was in the past. Therefore, it was impossible to withstand such an intense battle. Almost half of the buildings were destroyed, as if this place had been razed to the ground. Too strong. In the distance, Lou Rouland's beautiful eyes widened. She had long hidden in an extremely sturdy building far away. This was the Inheritance Hall, a palace that Saint Blood Soul had meticulously refined. Even the power of an ordinary saint would not be able to destroy it. It was the most sturdy building in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Therefore, by hiding in this place, she didn't have to worry about being affected. However, seeing such a scene, she was extremely shocked. She didn't expect Xiaoping to be able to fight against an immortal saint to this extent. If news of this were to spread, the universe would definitely be shocked. Haha, it's useless. I'm an immortal saint demon sage with an undying body. No matter how hard you try, you can't kill me or hurt me. Mortal, you're dead. When your powers are exhausted, I'll definitely skin you alive. The killing curse demon sage laughed wildly. It didn't care about its injuries at all. Relying on its undying body, it traded injuries for injuries in an attempt to exhaust a large amount of Xiaoping's powers. It had to admit that this was indeed Xiaoping's weakness. Even if Xiaoping could fight against an immortal saint demon sage now, as time passed, even if he had 9 purple mansion spaces, his powers would quickly be exhausted. After all, an immortal saint was too terrifying. The undying body itself was an unsolvable problem. Moreover, it could communicate with the origin of the universe and absorb the origin energy to quickly recover its powers. When Xiaoping's Li was exhausted, he would be like a turtle in a jar. Do I have to let Dumbo come out to deal with this killing curse demon sage? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and wanted to let Dumbo come out from its deep sleep. However, he thought about it carefully. Although Dumbo's strength far surpassed this killing curse demon sage, it was still not enough to kill it. No matter what, this killing curse demon sage was an immortal saint and had an undying body. Even if it couldn't beat it, it would still be easy to escape. The reason why the killing curse demon sage was still fighting to the death with him now was because it saw hope of winning. Once little Dumbo Gaia appeared, it would definitely run as fast as it could. However, he was also unwilling to let this killing curse demon sage escape. This was because an immortal saint demon sage like this was too dangerous, and it was also proficient in curse technique. If such an enemy was allowed to escape and launch a sneak attack, he would definitely encounter endless trouble. Even the people around him would be killed by this killing curse demon sage. Therefore, this killing curse demon sage must die. System, is there any way to kill an immortal saint? Thinking of this, Xiaoping moved his thoughts and asked the system. There are many ways to kill an immortal saint. The system replied, but according to the host's current strength, there is only one way. You can spend 50 hatred crystals to temporarily unlock the first seal of the reincarnation brush. With the power of the reincarnation brush, you can kill an immortal saint and completely destroy the other party's true spirit. 50 hatred crystals, and it's a temporary unsealing? Isn't it permanent? Xiaoping's heart ached. He didn't know how much effort it would take to get 50 hatred crystals. Moreover, this was a one-time cleansing, not a permanent unsealing. Host, do you want to spend 50 hatred crystals to temporarily unlock the first seal of the reincarnation brush? The system said, completely ignoring Xiaoping's complaints. It was just a routine. Unlocked. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. Although 50 hatred crystals were a lot, letting a powerful enemy like the killing curse demon sage escape was the real trouble. He wouldn't be able to sleep or eat in peace. There had always been a saying that one could be a thief for 1,000 days, but there was no such thing as guarding against a thief for 1,000 days.